Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing tonight, my man?
Doing good. Since the last time we spoke, I've watched a lot of movies, and I'm glad to come here with you and talk about them.
Yeah, actually, that's all I had time to do was watch movies. The week that we were supposed to do this 99th episode, I got sick, lost my voice on that week. Sound like an old man. And then my computer decided to blow up Thursday night due to those updates. So that took me a weekend just to install all the crap I had. But I'm back. We're here for our 99th episode. Long time coming. We got a really interesting show. We're going to be doing something different where we'll be comparing two characters from films and seeing which is the worst one. But Tone, we've had a lot to do in terms of watching movies, my friend. Let's go into our first segment like we always do with what we've been watching.
Let's do it.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
So what were you watching, my man?
We're gonna get started with Perfect Getaway, a movie that I enjoyed quite a lot. Kind of sneaks under the radar a little bit. The actors who are in it are Steve Zahn's in it. Mila Jovovich is in it. The great Timothy Olyphant is in it. And if you have not out there checked out the new Alien series, he's in that. He's amazing. But back to this movie, A Perfect Getaway. I saw this one at the movie theater, and these are the kind of movies that I enjoy a lot. I like a movie with a good twist. Twists and turns. 2009 is when this came out. You get them a lot in this movie, and you also get in this movie, which I thought was pretty cool, an early performance from Chris Hemsworth before he becomes the Thor that you know. He's pretty out there in this movie, but Steve Zahn's performance is great. Timothy Olyphant's performance is great. I really enjoy the twist at the end. Maybe when we start, if you've seen this movie, we may talk about it. If not, I really suggest that you see this one.
No, I have not. I will put this on my list. Usually when the movies you recommend, I try to watch them right away to get
What's the last one you did that? And I really appreciate when you liked it.
The Green Room.
And this one here, just so you know, it is, I believe, on HBO Max. It's up there. I think it's something that you'll enjoy a lot, especially good acting. This is the kind of movies that I think me and you love. I mean, it's not like John Wick, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it's like a fun, cool movie that if you haven't experienced, definitely slipped under your radar. And I'm excited for you to see it. I'm actually, honestly, I'm going to go as far as to say I'm jealous you haven't seen it. And you'd be like, why are you jealous? You've seen it. And I said, because anytime someone doesn't see a movie and I've seen it, I almost feel like I want to be in their position to see it again, like for the first time. So I think you're going to enjoy this one when you do. A couple weeks ago, I did make it to, which will probably be for a long time. I went to the movies by myself, and I saw Weapons on the release day. My daughter was in preschool, and I said, right before work's about to get back going, let me check this movie out. And I got to say, I really, really enjoyed it. It's hard to say what my favorite movie has been this year, but this one is definitely in the top. I like horror movies. I like thrillers. I like thriller horror movies. This one is kind of where it leans. Some people might say it leans a little bit more thriller than horror. But that being said, it's interesting. It's awesome. Zach Kreger directed it. We've talked about Barbarian here on the show before. But honestly, the performances in this movie will leave you talking for a long time. Josh Brolin, probably next to playing what's his name in Avengers? I mean, Thanos. He's great in this movie. Julia Garner, who was in Fantastic Four, which is awesome. She's in this. So it's always cool to get multiple movies. I mean, it's a dream, right? Get multiple movies at the movie theater during the summer. But another one, Yump, if you, your mom, or your brother, or anyone hasn't seen this one yet, or anyone out there, definitely suggest going to see this one.
So usually when a movie opens up on my birthday, I usually go see it. Like I was sick this day, we didn't do a show. Jenny offered to take me, so I went Sunday to go see this movie with the 10th when I was feeling a little bit better, and I loved this movie. My wife, on the other hand, did not. My brother thought it was a little too artsy. I loved it because, for one, it was something different in terms of horror to me. I was a big fan of Barbarian. I liked this film. Reason being is because it gave me a lot of Serpent and the Rainbow vibes, which kind of dealt with kind of the same kind of aspect of it. I don't want to give too much away. That's one of the reasons why I really liked it. I love Josh Brolin's acting in it. I like the fact that the main character wasn't likable, and I like there was certain things in it that made me laugh, especially Benedict Wong, whom everybody might know from the Doctor Strange series as Wong. When he turns into he's trying to hurt somebody, the way he's running and his eyes get all big, it really cracked me up, that part. It has a lot of scares in it in terms of jump scares, but just the uneasiness and freakiness of the film really, I like the way the style was shot. I'm always a person that likes new things in horror. I think we recycle a lot of things that, in terms of concepts that don't work. This is something that we haven't heard anything about. And it had a nice little message in it too, in terms of the climate that's going on. I thought Josh Brolin was really good in the film. I really enjoyed it, Tone. And I think if you haven't seen it, if somebody hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it.
Not to go against, I'll actually go the opposite way against your brother and say it wasn't already enough. If that's because I think I actually walked out, and believe it or not, I walked out of the theater and I was like, because this is the movie I was looking forward to all year. I was like, it's good. That's what I said. I go, it's good. And then I told Katie about it because she's probably not going to make it to the theater and she doesn't care. And I told her, and she's like, because she'll see it. And honestly, in about 6 months, and she won't remember what I told her. It always happens. And I go, you know what? When I explained it, I go, that actually sounds cooler now that I've seen it and I'm playing everything over and over and over in my head. It's a new type of movie. It's also kind of a little bit like a Pulp Fiction. They compared it to that, where you got the linear stories being told. You did say main person. I mean, is there a main person? I mean, are you going for Julia Garner? Is that who you mean?
Well, Julia Garner and Alden Ehrenreich are probably like the two main characters.
Oh, well, that guy, yeah, he definitely wasn't likable. And neither was, honestly, the who's a great actor too in the movie. I'm gonna look up his name here. Is the one who was the homeless guy,
Austin Abrams.
Yeah, he's honestly, I've seen him in a couple other movies. He's was really good in it. What I liked, again, as you said, I didn't see that that's where it was going at the end. And I'm not even going to give anything else away of who else is in the movie, because to be fair, about 2 weeks ago, I read it was like a spoiler-free review, but all it said in the review was look out for, and it was that actress, because her role is going to leave you thinking for a long time. And I said, oh, I know what's going to happen here. And it pretty much happened like that, but in a cool way. So I definitely suggest going to see it.
Yeah, and it's made money so far that they're already announcing supposedly a prequel coming out with that character's backstory, which I think is the thing too that people don't get is this film is a black comedy. It has a lot of comedy elements in it, like towards the you'll see like if you watch the film towards the end, it's got some comedy elements in it, and it like especially even in like one of the jump scares with Josh Brolin, it's got like comedy elements in it. Like I was gonna do a review on this film, but I didn't want to give anything away, so I
It's
rather
tough.
just
I mean, it's a tough movie to really,
yeah.
besides just you on camera going, "Go see it." Maybe in like a year or two, you know what I mean? But still,
Yeah,
actually, you could plan it for a year from this October for your next Halloween
that's what I'm probably
installment.
gonna do because I was torn between. I'm like, but you can't really talk about the film without giving certain aspects away. So I'd rather just everybody just go see it first, let it kind of marinate, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, I'm
But yeah,
also got to go see it, dude. That's cool.
mhm. Yeah, great film. So I watched two films. The common denominator in these two films is Donnie Yen's in them. I was watching. Well, I was sick, so I was scrolling TikTok and I saw the Ip Man scene on TikTok where he fights the 10 men in the
Mhm.
Japanese dojo and he breaks that guy's leg. So I decided to watch that film again. Probably one of my favorite martial arts films. Has a really, really good deep backstory with it too about the war with in China and Japan when World War II was happening and how they were having their own war before Japanese attacked America. But just cool little elements there. Nice seeing that Ip Man, who's a real person, who person that everybody knows who trained Bruce Lee, how he kind of got his start. Of course, it's fictionalized, but great action scenes, great drama. Probably Ip Man's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, martial arts film. What about you, Tone?
I have not seen Ip Man, but it's the one on my list that I know you've talked about before. Because Donnie Yen, he's awesome. We're going to talk about him here in a second in the next movie. But definitely just looks awesome by the cover alone without doing any research.
Yeah, check it out. I usually watch these films without subtitles, well, with subtitles because I rather not hear them dubbed because the dubbing is pretty bad. Um, but yeah, just a good story and good film. And this goes into John Wick 4. Now, was John Wick 4 a great movie? No. There's a lot of things in John Wick 4 that are like, how's he surviving, getting like falling out of buildings and whatnot. It's just to me a movie to throw on if you want to see a lot of action. I like Keanu Reeves. I love Donnie Yen. I love the fact that this is like Donnie Yen's like big break into American cinema. I mean, he was in Blade 2, but not a big role. And he choreographed Blade 2, which is kind of cool, the fight choreographer. But this is like his big American like coming out party, just like Jet Li in the Lethal Weapon 4. But and he has a lot of speaking English roles, speaks English in this movie, and I thought his character was pretty funny. I like that aspect of it. I like his character being blind. It adds like a little twist to it. And just another person that you should keep your eye on. He's actually very, very, very intelligent, not just an action star, but I was been listening to interviews with him, and his English is like on point for one. He speaks like 4 different languages,
Awesome.
and he's a awesome martial artist. But I love all his films in Asian cinema, and I'm happy to see him coming over to the American cinema. Now, there is supposedly rumors over John Wick 5. I do not. Keanu has come out and said that the character's dead, but there's still people asking for it. So I don't know. I
I haven't
know.
seen it yet. I mean, I heard he is in Ballerina. Is that a prequel or is that a
Yeah. So Ballerina's like a prequel to.
Gotcha.
It's more about. Have you seen John Wick 4?
Yes,
Right?
I have. Yes.
It's kind of has to do with like the ballerinas, the Russian group he goes to, his family, his house. Yeah, Sam, I can barely speak English, let alone any other languages. But yeah, tell me what you think about John Wick 4, Johnny. Tony, because when I was thinking about it and I said it, you made this face, so you laughed.
Well, no,
So
I actually don't have a problem with John. I made the face because I was about to say that it's been on TV a lot recently, and I on cable and on FX. I try. I mean, and we don't. You don't have to tell me now, but fourth movies in anything. I mean, is there a great fourth movie that's better than the movies before? I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of one. So by the time you get to 4 in anything, you're not gonna get the best. You're gonna. In this case, though, I'll be honest with you. John Wick comes pretty close to being. It's John Wick, man. The thing about John Wick is like he's taken so much in 1 through 3. that starts to become the point where it's like, it's like the Fast and Furious movies where it's like, how fast and how furious are we really going to get here? I mean, they're at 10. So, I mean, honestly, you get a fresh script. What I really think with the character, if they were going to do a 5, is they got to go a little smaller than they've been going. Like the big. It's just getting big. You know what I mean? It's big. Whereas if you go back to the first one or even the second one, bring it back to that scale in a story that somehow gets away with this same story that keeps continuing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the films. I think it kind of ran its course, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that's the fair answer right there.
But I mean, I do like that they tried to branch off. I mean, Ballerina is kind of cool that they're having like another character, which is fine. I know they tried The Continental, which was a TV series, and I heard it didn't do too well. I didn't get a chance to watch it. It wasn't good?
No, I mean, I tried a couple episodes, but you get that it's on television feeling as opposed to, and I don't like that because they did it kind of honestly with the Kingsman on Netflix too. It's like what you're doing is you don't have any of the classic characters, but you're running the same kind of things. It just doesn't work because the actors aren't. And maybe that's just me saying it. You may think
no,
out there.
You know what? Like, I can totally feel what you're saying because that's one of the reasons why I couldn't get into Breaking Bad right away. Was because it was on FX, and I came from the Sopranos mindset of, like, I like the fact that the Sopranos was gritty and raw, like that you could swear, stuff like that. Like, and I think in Breaking Bad, I was like, oh, I was kind of afraid like they're not going to show, like, it's not going to be as violent or as realistic as well, I mean, I'm saying the Sopranos is completely realistic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then I was pleasantly surprised. Same thing with Sons of Anarchy. That's another, like, I think that kind of gives me a little pause when those shows are on like TV than they are on a streaming service or a like HBO.
I've come a long way because back in college, if I wouldn't even be like, I'm not watching that, it's not gritty enough. I've come a long way. Like if I like you talked about, like Roseanne or the Connors, you know what I mean? Like some shows you just start to go, well, okay, I'm going to have to give in. And some of these shows are good, but again, John Wick, those other spinoffs, I would say these movies are about as close as get. And I would agree with you. It is running its course, but it does still gain pretty good. I mean, I'm looking here, just looking. I mean, it wasn't, 3 out of 4 stars is pretty much what the movie gets across the board, which is solid, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's just not a horrible film. It's just not something I'm looking forward to anymore. I'm looking for something like Weapons, but that's just.
It's not like something that's high on my list. I mean, I'll see it when it comes out. Don't get me wrong, but
what did you think of Alexander Skarsgård's? Not Alexander, Bill Skarsgård's performance in the movie?
He's all right.
That's what I mean.
I mean,
Scott Atkins villain wasn't as good as past villain movies.
Yeah, I think Scott Atkins was probably like the best villain in the film, and he was only in there for a small role. He was the fat guy that would place cards with them that he beat up.
Isn't this the one that's got like the gun duel? That's the one with Johnny Yen at the end. They're like, that's
but he's the fat guy that he beats up in the club that everybody just keeps dancing to while he's beating the shit out of the owner. Scott Atkins is a badass martial artist. He's actually in Ip Man 4. He's the main villain in there. And they have an epic fight in that one. Super skinny guy. He wore a fat suit, of course. But John Wick, I mean, it's run its course. I like this. I mean, I like the character. I wish they kind of I want to see more about the Continental stuff, like the Winston, that kind of stuff. And I guess they tried it, and like you said, it wasn't that good. So
you ever hear this movie real quick? You ever see Hotel Artemis?
No.
It came out a couple of years ago. It's got the cast in it you'll recognize a lot of the cast in it, but it's like a gritty. It's like the whole movie is pretty much like taking place in like a gritty Continental. It's pretty. It's a pretty cool movie. Jodie Foster's even in it. It's a really, especially the type of movies that you seem to enjoy. It kind of reminds me too a little bit. Did you like the Judge Dredd with Carl Urban? Right, we've talked about it. It's got a little bit of that in it too. Another one to put on your list. I know I keep giving you one, but again, maybe a little
Dave
bit
Bautista's
better
in it
than
too.
4.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Goldblum's great in it as the bad guy. I like bad guys who ham it up. And I think like in this movie, I'm always an Ian McShane fan though. So like some of the badness in this movie because Ian McShane a little bit can weigh it, but it's
Deadwood,
not my
man.
favorite. It's not my favorite of the 4.
Yeah, I'll definitely check this out.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you'll like it a lot.
Speaking of Carl Urban, what do you think about the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer?
It'd be awesome, I think, man. I think that first, honestly, I loved that one. I didn't like it. I mean, I wish the movie theaters would have stayed open, but the year where unfortunately we were at home and HBO put on a brand new movie every month and they did Mortal Kombat was one of those movies. I don't know if I would have ever really sat down and watched it if it wasn't released like that to me at that time, because Sophia was just born. But man, that was a good movie. We talked about it here on the show. So when you say that you're going into a sequel and you're getting Carl Urban, and I think we're in for a pretty good movie. I think you would agree, right?
Yeah, I think we have to get together to go see it when it comes out because
will be definite.
For those who grew up in the 90s, you're a little bit older, but we're around the same age group.
Yeah.
Those who grew up in the 90s, we saw the first Mortal Kombat. I saw that in theaters. I was so excited to see that. Then when the second one came out, I was like, what the hell is this? We got totally cheated on the second Mortal Kombat. It was just like a bunch of characters they just threw in there. They tried to make up for it with the little like spin-offs like Mortal Kombat Legends, and then they had a horrible TV show. But the Mortal Kombat Legacy film, which you can watch, I think, on YouTube, is actually really, really well. And it's split into like separate stories for each character, which I think was kind of cool what they did. I'm really, really looking forward to see how they do this film. It looks great. Carl Urban is awesome in Judge Dredd or pretty much in anything he does. I really like Carl Urban. So I'm looking forward to see how this film goes.
And just to continue on the same topic, I'm sure you've seen that they're making a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
What about the original of that one? How do you feel about that with Raul Julia?
I mean, Raul Julia should have deserved an Oscar for that film.
You should. Your Van Damage.
I mean, I've seen the other one. They had the Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li, which is it was really bad. I mean, you can't. There's only way you can go is up. You had your main character Guile being an American sergeant played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Van Damme, but I mean,
not good casting.
But I'll see it. Kenny Omega's in it. I know he looks kind of cool. I'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm hoping these movies get like their due, and seeing these video game movies being made just opens the door for a movie that's been in development hell. That is probably one of my favorite games of all time, and it's called The Darkness. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
So it's an old game that came out for Xbox, and then it was released on Xbox 360. And the game basically it's basically a curse that lives in a family, and something bad has to happen for it to be released. And the main character's name is Jackie Estacado, and he's a mobster. He gets double crossed by his uncle who kills his girlfriend, and eventually he lets the darkness take him over. And basically it's like a demon where it can eat souls, and he basically does like revenge against his uncle in the first one. And the second one's him more learning about the secrets and trying to get rid of it from coming back out. But it's actually a really, really good story. The game is awesome. You can make phone calls on it. You call people like you're in a subway. It's just for the time, I thought it was awesome. Kirk Acevedo is actually the lead character. Does the lead voice, which is awesome. But they had a script written, and people were talking about it. It looked like a pretty good script, and then it kind of died down with the video game movies dying. So there's been talk that they're going to release maybe a third game and possibly a film coming out. Also, you got the Gears of War film coming out, which is something I hope is great because I love the first Gears of War. Now that we're releasing them next week, I believe, the re-release of the Gears of War series, that would be a great film. So hopefully, like the video game films follow. I mean, you got Twisted Metal that's doing well. Also, Fallout was awesome.
How do you feel about the new Masters of the Universe coming out next summer? He-Man. Were you a He-Man guy growing up or no?
Yes, I had the He-Man sword. I had I had I can't think of his name.
I had Skeletor's lair. I didn't have He-Man's. I had Skeletor's.
Skeletor's awesome.
He was cool.
What's his name? He was green and furry.
Oh,
Beastman.
Mothman.
Mossman. So
Mothman.
I had him, and he got wet, and my mom had to throw him out because it was like you get it wet and like it's like disgusting. She had to throw him out.
Well,
But yeah,
your lucky day. Guess what? I got 2 Mossmen. When I see you, you're gonna get one and relive your childhood again.
dude, I loved He-Man. I was a big He-Man guy.
But I haven't seen a trailer. I know there's some actors in it. Maybe Jared Leto, I think, is playing Skeletor. I think I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, the original was campy. We'll see.
What do you think about the Tron film with him? The new Tron film, Ares?
I think the trailer looks awesome.
Mhm.
I mean, I really liked that last movie a lot. I mean, when it came out, but again, Jeff Bridges is in it. I mean, you got to believe if he's signing up for this, the story's got to be halfway decent. We'll see. That one's a we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like ever since I watched that film with him in Japan,
Oh, that movie's
like
not good. No.
I was just like, man, Jared Leto can't be a tough
But
guy.
for 4 minutes, honestly, in American Psycho,
Mhm.
that should take all away that because he's ridiculous in that movie.
He's-
He's good in Blade. He's good in Blade. I mean, Blade Runner 2049. He's
Mhm.
pretty good in that movie. He's got good. He's really eccentric. His band isn't my favorite, but you know what I mean.
Mars? Yeah.
That's just not my style of music a lot of the times. But
He's
we'll
really
see.
good in what's the name of the film? Jesus Christ, I had it in my mind.
He's
Oh,
he's one of those actors who he's got some really good stuff. Like honestly, I mean, as far as Oscar, I mean, Dallas Buyers Club he nails that role for what it is and what he's calling for to do in the movie. I mean, I like that movie.
The Little Things. That's what it's called.
Oh, that movie's really good. The one with it's funny you should bring that up because we could connect it. That was the very first movie that they released on HBO during that pandemic. And honestly, I'll still put that movie on, like just lay there to it because it's a good movie.
Yeah, he played a creep, which fit him perfectly.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, well, real quick, as far as horror movies go, he's an urban legend. That's not the worst movie.
No. No. Yeah, I'll watch it. I watched House of Gucci and I didn't really like it, but I mean, and I watched Morbius with the famous dance off.
See, his better work is like when he was earlier, like Lord of War. He's pretty good in. Requiem for a Dream, Fight Club. I mean, but that's a long time ago. He's released a lot of not the best movies, but again, we'll wait and see. His Joker is, I think, what started to get people to go, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's just bad. I'm sorry. I mean, he's probably the least favorite Joker.
Well, it was just it just is so, I like Out There. It was just too much, man.
Yeah. But that's what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched over at the show pod over on Twitter's or X, wherever it's called. Let us know in the YouTube comments. If you are listening, why don't you give us a review? It helps us get to more other listeners, good or bad. Let us know. Also, we take your feedback and try to make the show better. So whatever podcast platform you're on, just give us a review and let us know. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe button. It helps us out big time as we move forward and support the show. Really appreciate it. But Tone, I have a behind the VH box trivia question for you today. You ready to get this?
Ooh, I'm excited.
All right, let's play this little intro and then we'll get to it.
The bat, the beat effects pops. The bat, the beat effects pops. The bat, the beat effects pops.
All right, my friend. So this film is in the 2000s, okay?
My weak spot.
I think you'll get this one though.
This is like down and out. That's what this is a pitch. Okay, let's see it. Come on.
A paralyzed ex-Marine merges with Neon Force avatars, learns archery, flora fluency, and falls in love with a blue warrior under flowing waterfalls.
I'm gonna do the thing that I always thought I'd do, like on a show. Like I'm gonna be like, Let me think about it. Give me a minute. Avatar?
Yeah, it's Avatar. Give it. That was a little easy one. I can give you another one from 2000 if you want.
Please, you can keep going. We can go to,
Okay.
we can go to 1 a.m. No, I'm kidding. Come on.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's see if I can find a very, very good one for you. Oh, here's a hard one. Filmed over 12 years with the same cast, this coming-of-age story maps awkward growth, sibling rifts, and moving trucks, all measured in subtle glances and shot-by-shot realism. This is, again, a 2000s film. After the 2010s. So I'll give you another extra hint there.
Boyhood.
Wow. I didn't think you were going to get that one. That's actually right. Boyhood.
Honestly, what it is, and honestly, when Oscar season came out, I think I might have blew through that movie. But there's always, with every movie I watch, I think there's a little something that I remember, and I think it was remember that Richard Linklater filmed the movie over 12 years, and that's kind of what made me think of it. But I love this game, man. You're the best.
Yeah, we'll come up with two. I'll come up with two more next week.
Please,
we'll do two different decades.
Me, the goal, even if I lose for the next 100 times in a row, I just like you just asking me. It's fun.
Tony's got 2 for 2 though. He's on fire. But that's the behind the VHS box, my friend.
See, what I haven't told you is that for the last 2 weeks we've been off, I've just been in the bedroom here, like looking at the wall. Is it Avatar? See, and that's why it was so easy right there. See.
But before we get in, Jackie Brown.
Brown.
Before we get into the main event here, I just want to do some house cleaning really quick. Let everybody know that Tony does have the new show of the James Bond films with Adam, which is a great show. I actually watch every episode. I really like them, where they're going through every James Bond episode, and that's on YouTube. Tone, what was the last one you guys talked about?
Last one we talked about, well, the one we're talking about this upcoming week, I guess I could talk about this Wednesday. It's going to be Diamonds Are Forever, which is the last in the Sean Connery in a row series for James Bond.
Nice. I can't wait till you get to GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, GoldenEye is great. I mean, you could spend an episode just on the video game alone.
Yeah, I spent many time playing that game. But you also have that. You had the Hook Up on Music, which just released a new episode. What was up on the Hook Up on Music?
The Hook Up on Music this week was really awesome. Mike stopped by, and he is part of Chirp Radio, and I'm trying a new thing. So if anyone out there would ever like to come on, I'll even reach out to you soon. You give me 5 songs, I give you 5 songs, and we put them together and have a good time and talk about them. And that's pretty much what we do. And we get little conversations about it. Like, I try to send you something that I think you would like. You're sending me something that you think I would like. It's fun. And that's what we did this week. It was a good time.
Yes, sir. Both great episodes. I finished watching them today. I finished the hookup today when I was working. On my end, we have a new show that we're going to be doing with Michael Cotton, who's actually a member of the Penguins as well. He's known for his You're Not Gonna Like This. He actually has an article that's going to be coming out soon that you're going to like a lot. He was telling me about it. But we're going to be doing, since he knows I do not like reboots, he wanted to do a series on reboots. And we're going to be recording tomorrow and we'll be releasing tomorrow our first episode, which is called Frame for Frame. And we'll be discussing the 1950s Body Snatchers, Vision of the Body Snatchers, against the 1970s version of the Body Snatchers. So we,
the one
yeah,
with Donald? Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, so we've agreed not to share notes, none of that. It's just going to be clear, raw, to see how it goes. And we're looking forward to that. I know me and him been texting. He's really excited. I'm excited. It's a small little spinoff.
He's awesome. You guys are going to do awesome. Kick some ass.
Thank you, my man. And one more last house cleaning thing. If you don't know, we do have a shop at sadisticpenguin.printify.me. That's sadisticpenguin.printify.me. We have a whole bunch of cool stickers there. We have some Dia de los Muertos shirts for Halloween. All the proceeds go towards just basically keeping the brand running, and that's it. I mean, we're not trying to be millionaires here, but we're just keeping the lights on. So, and plus, we have cool merch that we buy for ourselves. So just check that out. Support the show if you can. If you can't, it's all good. Listening and watching, it helps out immensely as well, and we like spending time with you guys. But I wanted to get all those announcements out so we can just roll through these, Tone, and then go into our other segments at the end. But you ready to get into these characters?
Oh, I'm ready. This has been something I've been waiting.
So there's been a time in your life, or even there's been discussions I've had with many people, Mr. Ham being one, Miss Nam, about who's the worst character. And one of the people that we always talk about between them two is always Rose DeWitt Whittaker from Titanic and Jenny Karan from Forrest Gump. So we're going to give you the pros and cons of each between them. I'm going to read you the pros and cons of Rose, and Tony's going to read you the pros and cons of Jenny. And we're going to come to a consensus of which of these two characters is the worst character. So, Tone, let's get into this with our characters of Rose. Rose, of course, being from Titanic. Her pros are she rebels against the restrictive aristocrat life imposed on her, showing courage and compassion. So she's a compassionate one. She risked her life during the Titanic sinking to save Jack, freeing him from handcuffs and flooded decks. That time. She leaps back onto the ship, saying, "You jump, I jump," to stay with Jack, loyalty over personal safety. So she got some good aspects there. After surviving, she honors Jack's memory by living life on her own terms, taking his surname and treasuring the lessons he taught her about freedom. That can be looked as a negative as well, instead of a positive. But she grows from a despairing socialite to a compassionate, independent woman. Her cons are she commits infidelity by engaging in a romance with Jack while engaged to Cal. I mean, if you're a really purist, you can be like, but you understand Cal was an asshole. She occupies the infamous floating door and does not attempt to share it with Jack, leading to his death. And this is one of the things that Mr. Han argues about all the time, is that Rose could have saved Jack's life if she just moved over on the damn, door. I think Mythbusters actually did a thing about this, saying that they both could have survived in the door in the water. So Rose, of course, basically killed Jack. She conceals the priceless heart of the ocean diamond, only to discard it in the sea later, wasting a fortune. And this part kind of pissed me off too, because the guy his life mission was to find this diamond. He brought her on his ship. He was like treating her like a queen. They were hearing her, treating her like doing, her story. He wanted to hear her story, and she goes and fucking just throws the thing in the water without giving it to him. And it kind of ruins, like, it's like, wow, you ungrateful lady.
Can I just say one thing? I've watched this. I actually saw it 3 times in the theater when it came out, and I never thought. I mean, I guess I just always missed. And you're right, I missed that part. That just made me think. Now I'm changing my mind. We're gonna get to this in a second. That was shit, man.
She lives under an assumed name, Jax, without informing anyone she survived, depriving others of closure. I guess, but Cal killed himself. Yeah, I've seen the alternate version, Katie. The alternate ending. In old age, she seems to focus more on Jack than the family she's built afterward. I think this part is probably the worst part about her, in my opinion, because she has kids and she had a husband, and her fucking dream is to be with some guy she was with for like a month, and he's waiting for her at the when she dies. Like, where was her husband? Did he like beat the shit out of her husband or something before he got there? Like, it made no sense. It was, when I saw that at the end, I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. But that's just me. But that is the character of Rose. Now we got you all marinating right now with Rose, what kind of character she is. Tone, tell us about the pros and cons of the great Jenny.
I think out of like 200 podcasts I've ever done, I've never laughed as hard as you just made me laugh right there, Yum. Thank you. Because I didn't really think of some of that stuff before. The way you presented it was great. All right, Jenny. Okay, a real love muffin here. Her pros is, well, she likes to show kindness to Forrest as a child when others bully him, offering friendship and encouragement. Some could look at it as talking down. I guess it depends on how you look at it. Survives and attempts to escape an abusive childhood home, revealing deep trauma. That was something that you were hoping that she can take and build from to be a stronger life. Yes. Reenters Forrest's life at key points, guiding him through childhood and reuniting during important life events. Again, that's like you said earlier, that could be a con. That's like a mom, like it's like Johnny Depp's mom in Blow, where she just like leaves him and not the best. Okay. Eventually seeks stability, gets clean from drugs, holds a steady job, and creates a home for her son. That was nice. Marries Forrest before her death to ensure he won't be alone and that their son has a loving father. Oh, it's heart. All right, now let's get to the cons here. Frequently disappears from Forrest's life without explanation, often when he needs her most. Yeah, not good. Immerses herself in dangerous counterculture lifestyles involving drugs and abusive relationships. Ignores or withholds Forrest's letters from Vietnam. Abandons Forrest after they become intimate, leaving without warning. Hides the existence of their son for years, depriving Forrest of his child's early life. Only contacts Forrest again when she is dying and in need.
He's desperate.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah. Before we get to who we think is worse, each of us, they have shared themes between them, the both women. Both women defy societal expectations and pursue personal freedoms through unconventional love. In Jenny's case, a lot of unconventional love. Each relationship bridges a social or class divide. Rose has come from wealth to penniless. Jenny's from poverty, and she goes to Forrest's pure heart and simplicity. Trauma shakes both. Rose feels trapped in a gilded cage. We know her and contemplates suicide with Cal. Jenny survives childhood abuse and longs to escape. Abandonment is central in both characters. Rose physically lets go of Jack during the sinking, so she basically commits murder. And Jenny emotionally and physically leaves Forrest multiple times. Both are seen as the real villain of their stories due to controversial decisions. So they're both bad. So I want to know, who do you think is worse? Is it Rose or is it Jenny?
Going into this, honestly, I just automatically checked Jenny right away. I mean, I did, because honestly, the only thing I thought about Rose was always the door thing. And in my mind, I guess I just chalked it up to being, you know what, he was a good guy, and that's just kind of what happened. But when you pointed out some of these other things, Jump, it pretty much told me that honestly, she's my pick for being worse. For a couple different reasons, okay? In Jenny's life, in their life, Jenny had trauma growing up. And not only did she have trauma growing up, but I hate to use the term par for the course, but Jenny's story is a story that is familiar to a lot of people. Rose was, like you said, like marrying someone else, but longing. And I don't want to really put down, I really didn't want to put down that Jack is, what's the word I'm looking for? He was a nobody. But like, that's just the thing. Like he was, their time was so short. Like, I think what it was, and I'm not going to lie, you know, there's been a time, you know, maybe like I fell for a girl when I broke up with someone else because I was in that vulnerable state. And that's what Rose was in when she met Jack. Because, I mean, come on now, Billy Zane, he's really the villain in the movie here. No, I'm just kidding. He's bad. But like, you say to yourself, I mean, you're on the ship of Billy Zane, you'll take anybody. So you find this guy in Leo and it goes great. Whereas like Forrest is Forrest, man. Like, can I be honest with you? If Jack was in Forrest's position, would Jenny have done the same thing to Jack? Probably, but would Jack kept put up with it? No. In Forrest, she would never even want to talk to Forrest. Kate Winslet, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kate Winslet. What do you think?
So, like you, I was all on Jenny Karan. I thought she was horrible. because not only did she only come around when Forrest had money, but she also eventually, I'm assuming, gave him AIDS at the end because she had a virus, even though they don't mention
I didn't
it.
want to bring that up, but yeah, that was
But
another problem.
that was like a thing too. But she kind of, am I like looking at all this and thinking about it really, really loud? Yeah, Forrest would have been happy with a box of chocolates. Yes,
Sure
yes,
would
my
have.
wife is correct.
She is. She is.
I personally like when I went through this and I started thinking about this, I'm like, okay, let me think about who I think is the worst. And the more and more I thought about it, Rose had such a limited time with Jack that, to me, the thing that really pisses me off about Rose is at the end of the film when she sees Jack and like she basically, that's the part that makes me like annoyed. Like I mean, take out the fact that she killed the guy, but the fact that she tells like her final thing is to be with Jack when basically he's like, oh, well, screw the guy I had kids with. And it doesn't matter how deep ocean a woman's heart is, a deep ocean. That's bullshit. You were with some guy for his X amount of years, had X amount of kids. Apparently he was still good to you. He passed away. And your last, when you go to the, Nirvana, the heaven, you will see Jack. And you think Jack is going to be waiting for you? If I was Jack, I'd be like, you let me fucking die on a boat when you could have lived.
That's what I'm saying. And not only that, but I mean, you could say that. I mean, to be fair, me and you have spent a lifetime together compared to Jack and Rose, and you're not going to take the Moss Man I gave you on a boat when you're 90 and throw it overboard because you remember a podcast. But that will be okay. I will accept that because you have a family, a wife, a child. Like, why would it be me like that? But that's what makes it so stupid.
Yeah, and that part too, like the fact that guy is like trying to he's trying to be the best host for her. Because it's his lifelong dream to find this thing. He's been doing it for his whole life. And just because she of love and she wants to not to be found, she throws the damn thing in the river, or the damn ocean. And it kind of like, well, F you to that guy. Well, then again, what can we expect? Because I mean, basically she said F you to her husband he had the kids with. So that guy is nothing to her. And to me, it's just like, I did not like her character at all. Titanic, is it a bad film? No, I like Titanic. Forrest Gump's a good film too.
Which
the part
like
that
better,
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
But I think my pick will go to Rose because I think she just she didn't have an excuse to do what she did. That's my thing. Also, as bad as Jenny had some issues that were going on in her life that made her that way, and she also didn't kill anybody. I mean, that we know of.
No.
Jack was the person at the pearly gates that kicked her out the door to purgatory. Maybe after if they cut away from him grabbing her hand, he threw her off. Also, like, why were the other people at the Titanic cheering for her to be there? Like, was Billy Zane there? Was he excited to see her? That's what I want to know. Did he come down from the stairs too?
Again, and not only again, I think we've made the right picks.
So I threw these after I did this research. I threw this stuff into ChatGPT. I want ChatGPT to give me the worst person. ChatGPT actually went against what we said. It said Jenny Coran is the morally worse. Rose's flaws are largely impulsive and acts in extreme situations, often against a backdrop of seeking freedom from abuse. Jenny repeatedly and knowingly hurts an innocent man who loves her, abandoning him for years at a time. Rose's worst act, not sharing a door, is debated as a survival instinct. Jenny's pattern of behavior shows ongoing selfishness towards Forrest. Rose ultimately keeps her promise to Jack and lives a full life. Jenny leaves Forrest with as much heartbreak as happiness. And see, where I push back on that tone is Jenny, although not a great person, the reason she does leave Forrest with unhappiness is she doesn't know she has a good thing. Because stuff happened to her to make her that way through her psychological abuse. Sometimes when people are like that, they push away the best thing for them and kind of go to those worst situations.
That's why,
which is why I can give her a pass on that.
An understanding.
Now, Rose, she not only didn't share the damn door, she just basically tell her family, like, for Jack, she lived a full life. So she had to, like, imagine telling your husband, oh, we've been married for 40 years. I just did it because Jack told me to do it. He's like, who the fuck is Jack? There was therapy. This is the 60s and 70s, Sam. There was no therapy.
There's only drugs.
It's only drugs. To the doors. LA Woman when she was on top of the ledge.
Freebird blasting.
Yeah.
Won't you fly, my free? Was great. But again, I think I mean ChatGPT's just I think they're not taking into effect your what you said about the guy who brings her on the boat to find this thing she throws in the water. That's just shameful, man.
Jenny to the gulag. So Sam says Jenny to the gulag.
I'm sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Homer, watch your mouth.
I gotta go. My damn wiener kids are listening.
So that is our Jenny versus Rose debate. We got a good one coming for number 2 here. I tried to pick some good characters for this, and with our second, round, we got Gordon Gekko of Wall Street going up against Jordan Belfort of the Wolf of Wall Street. Tone, big people here.
Big.
So I'm going to give you Gordon Gekko's pros and cons here. Gekko has highly intelligence and he's confident with a razor-sharp understanding of markets and corporate value. That is shown in the film. He's very smart when it comes to the market. He's bold in pursuing massive deals and takeovers that others wouldn't dare attempt. So he's a risk taker. That's how he makes his money. He acts as a mentor, albeit corrupt, to Bud Fox, which is Charlie Sheen's character, and imparting lessons about efficiency and ambition. He tries to train somebody to be like him. He's a charismatic speaker, especially when he does the greed is good speech. That's awesome. He respects hustle initiative, bringing Bud under his wing when he shows drive, which he does. Shows a brief glimpse of affection for his family, particularly his young son. We've seen that in there. And he has unflinching commitment to his personal creed. Openly declares his philosophy rather than hiding behind being a hypocrite. And you know what? You'd rather have sometimes somebody tell you that they're a devil than hiding it from you.
Mm-hmm.
You'd rather have that snake come out and say, I'm a snake, than trying to hide in the grass. The bad things about him is he engages in insider trading, securities fraud, and ruthless corporate raiding without remorse. Hey, Martha Stewart did the same damn thing. He betrays Bud Fox and Blue Star Airways airline workers, promising to help, but secretly planning to gut the company for profit. I'm gonna be honest, he's a white guy in business. Come on. Willingly destroys jobs, raises pensions, and strips assets purely for personal gain. If you're just learning about the financial world, there's tons of people like this. It's not a good thing, but it's kind of common sense and kind of come and go. He manipulates and bribes insiders, trades on non-public information, and treats legality as irrelevant. Yep. That's kind of the character he is. He's a shady guy. His personal relationships are shallow. Basically, they're transactional for his own benefit, and they're easily discarded. Again, he's an asshole. Cheats on his wife and pursues affairs with women like Darian. He's a millionaire. Could be a billionaire, and those aren't great people. He corrupts others, seduces Bud into criminal activity, eroding his integrity. He's a manipulator. He's really good at it. And he represents the cold, predatory style of unrestrained capitalism, proud of being a taker rather than a creator. And how many people do we know like that, Tone, in the world today?
There's quite a few. Couple we know. All right, the pros. He's ambitious and energetic, starting with nothing and building Stratton Oakmont from scratch. Demonstrates adaptability pivotal to penny stocks after the 1987 crash. Gives jobs to friends and working class people, training them to succeed in sales. A power motivator, delivering rousing speeches that inspire loyalty and confidence. Generous with his inner circle, giving cash bonuses, gifts, and extravagant perks. Shows loyalty to associates early on, initially refusing to betray them to authorities. Brings people from all walks of life along for the ride, not just for the privileged. briefly considers walking away from the crime after a settlement, showing a fleeting moment of self-awareness. After prison, reinvents himself as a motivational speaker, demonstrating adaptability. Here are some of Jordan's cons. Russ Stratton Oakmont as a pump and dump fraud operation, stealing over $200 million from investors. Trains employees to lie and pressure clients into buying worthless stocks. Spends ill-gotten gain. Okay, well, should be under the pro. No, I'm just kidding. Spends ill-gotten gains on constant drugs, prostitutes, and over-the-top luxuries. Surreal infidelity, cheats on both his first wife and Naomi, indulging in orgies and public affairs. Neglects and endangers his family, drives high with his infant daughter in the car, commits money laundering, bribes officials, and resists arrest. Becomes physically abusive towards his wife and tries to abduct his daughter during a fight. Nearly sinks in his yacht and endangers life while intoxicated. Creates and normalizes a workplace culture of drugs, sex acts, and humiliating stunts. Ignores repeated opportunities to stop committing crimes, doubling down instead. Ultimately cares more about preserving his lifestyle than the lives he ruined.
Do you want me to do the shared traits before, or do you want to do the verdict yet?
You can do shared traits and you can do the verdict.
Okay. So both are iconic symbols of Wall Street greed and mortality. They're both charismatic alpha males who inspire fierce loyalty from followers. They use illegal financial schemes, Gekko with an insider trading and corporate raiding, Jordan with stock fraud and laundering. They exploit the less powerful for profit. Gekko targets companies and shareholders, while Jordan basically targets everyday investors, mostly people who don't have a lot of money for those penny stocks. They disdain for rules and authority, mock or underestimate law enforcement. Downfall caused by hubris. Gekko underestimates Bud Fox. Jordan refuses to quit when ahead. They're surrounded by enablers and a lavish lifestyle. That one I'm kind of going to push back on because I think Gekko kind of was more in control than Belfort was in terms of who I don't think his enablers really pushed as much as Jordan's did. Donnie was a really big enabler on Jordan, and he kind of manipulated him a lot. Jonah Hill's character. They're skilled in persuasion. Their speeches rally followers to embrace greed, and they show. I got one for you, Cassandra, coming up. They show little genuine empathy for victims, treating them as collateral damage. So you went first last time. I'm gonna go first this time. Gordon Gekko is a complete piece of shit. But he's kind of a cool piece of shit in my book. His speech on greed is understandably and true for a lot of people. I mean, to me, Gordon Gekko is a horrible person, horrible character, but he's a fictional character. Jordan Belfort is a real person and has done this stuff really, and he still spouts off diarrhea from the mouth with the shit he's doing now. So in my choice, I would say Jordan is probably the worst person. What about you?
Well, I mean, let me ask you this question before I answer, and then you tell me which way. If you're going like movie character wise, or we're going like real life, who we think is, because if you're going movie character wise, I just feel like you just said it. Like I think Michael Douglas and Gordon Gekko, he's an asshole. Like he's not nice. Where like Jordan Belfort, he's almost got like an idiot Peter Pan whimsicalness of stupidity. And for some reason, like it's like what you are is it's like these are the guys who never grew up from college and they're partying and they keep getting to party and they get to make this money and they're ripping people off. But like to me, I find that to be more not entertaining, I guess, but better than like a Bernie Madoff, who is more closer to what a Gordon Gekko is some guy who really only fucking cares about. I mean, I'm not saying Jordan Belfort and all those guys didn't care about themselves, because they did, but they just seem to care more about having a good time. And I know that's what's the selfish part of me. It's almost like,
no, I can see that.
But Sam is right, and you are right. You know, real life is what trumps here. I mean, I do understand that. I think it's more because I just find some of Wolf of Wall Street so fun.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But it's kind of like some of these next ones we're going to talk about. They're great, but you don't want to be in that world. So that's what I mean. So I guess when you put it that way, and honestly, the way you explained it with both of them, I feel the same way. I mean, Gordon Gekko is a businessman, a real ruthless businessman. Jordan Belfort's just a ruthless human. I mean, not ruthless, like reckless human being, I guess is more like it.
And even if we're just going by the character in the film without the real person, take that aspect. The thing that pushes me towards giving Belfort the nod for the worst person is, one, he cheats on Mark Robbie, well, his wife, and then he hits her, which I'm like,
well, yes,
yeah. So that's one that's kind of, even though Gordon Gekko's a bad dude, I mean, he could have killed the guy. He's the best guy around, but that kind of threw me off there. To be honest with you, I watched The Wolf of Wall Street a couple days ago, and because I was looking at seeing if I can find anything else to bring to the table, I would say Donnie's a pretty piece of shit person too in that film.
Well, Donnie, I think Donnie's more of a piece of shit than Jordan is personally.
Yeah, like him and
Donnie was.
I think Donnie was his downfall, to be honest.
Donnie, well, yeah, he was bad.
Yeah, but driving on Quaaludes, crashing helicopters, almost killing them on a yacht. Yep, he was a junkie. A junkie.
Team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Homer, watch your mouth.
I gotta go. My damn wiener kids are listening.
All right, Tom. That's our second round. So we have Jordan Belfort winning that one. ChatGPT says they agree with us. He's morally reprehensible, is what it says. Gekko's crimes are ruthless but largely corporate. It harms individuals as a side effect. Jordan's crimes directly target thousands of ordinary people, ruining their financial lives for personal indulgence.
That's the part that's worse.
Yeah, Gekko maintains a cold professionalism. Jordan descends into open depravity, constant drug abuse, infidelity, violence, and endangering his own child. Jordan's lifestyle glorifies excess to an even greater extreme, creating a toxic culture in his workplace. While both face prison, Jordan shows little remorse and continues self-promotion afterwards. Jordan's personal and professional corruption is total, making him a worse figure than the disciplined but predatory Gordon Gekko.
That's the one thing I'll disagree with. I didn't think the movie didn't show that the place, honestly, there wasn't a time when they were at the job site where it was toxic. Like, if you agreed, like, people throw it, like, the fun that they're having from an outside perspective is being toxic, but it wasn't like anyone at the job ever complained about working there.
What about when the guy came in and was like, "You spent $300,000 at a strip club"?
But that was like, you mean his dad?
Yeah.
Well, it was just his dad, and he said he put his dad in charge because that's the only guy that was really going to be able to say anything to him at the place anyway, and they just laughed in his face. But like, besides his dad, everybody, even at the end, when you said in the thing where he was like thinking about leaving and he goes up there and gives the speech, why weren't they all like, "Get out of here, you piece of shit"? They were all like, "Come back." And he's like, "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving." Because the truth of the matter is that he showered those people, like you said, with not good things. And I mean, come on. You wouldn't like your job workplace to just be a little bit.
If I made millions of dollars like that, I'd be very happy to work there.
Well, I mean, just if you made the money they made and your job site was as fun as that one, you wouldn't complain. Come on, you couldn't.
The sides to cure cancer that they're so expensive. Yeah. I mean, I would like if that was my job, man. And then Sam, I saw Sam. At least we saw Rose Poopy. Oh my god. But that is our second round here. Now we're going to be going into our third round. And
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway.
What are you
doing? Anybody wants to walk, do it now.
What are you doing?
I played the Roadhouse clip, man, for this one.
Are you just hitting clips to see what they are right now in the middle of the show?
Yes, I am. But
maybe do that later.
For this one, we're going with John Doe from Seven versus Jigsaw, aka John Kramer from the Saw franchise, Tone. So let's go into this where we're gonna go with John Doe's pros. He's meticulous. He's very intelligent. He spends time over years planning his murders with precision. Each victim's death is designed to embody one of the 7 deadly sins. He's absolute control of the investigation, remains several steps ahead of the Texas Somerset and Mills until his voluntary surrender, which itself is part of his plan. Now, he didn't incorporate that Somerset had connections with the FBI, who was keeping tracks on people that read books, but he has unshakable conviction, fully committed to his warped moral vision, believing his killings are righteous punishments and necessary societal wake-up calls. He's patient and disciplined, able to maintain a low profile while executing multiple elaborate murders without a single slip. He's willing to die for his mission, knowing he makes himself his final victim in the tab by provoking Mills into committing wrath. His symbolic precision is he chooses victims based on sins he deems representative of his sins, ensuring each killing is as thematic piece of his larger artwork. The cons of Mr. John Doe is he commits sadistic, irreversible murder. I mean, he's a fucking killer. He inflicts prolonged suffering, force-feeding the gluttony guy until his stomach bursts. He makes the greed victim cut flesh from himself. And then he tells them they're probably thanking him for the lawyer's death when he's in the car. The lawyer, which are probably secretly thanking me for. He targets sins of trivial or private nature, punches people whose flaws are self-contained, such as vanity or overeating, without consideration for propriety. He kills true innocence. He murders Tracy Mills and her unborn child, neither of whom committed any wrong, purely to manipulate another person into violence. He has utter lack of empathy. He views humans as disposable props in his morality play. His psychological manipulation. He delights in emotionally breaking his pursuers, especially Detective Mills, who weaponize grief and rage as his tools. No possibility of redemption for his victims. His system offers no survival option. Every target is doomed from the outset. And he takes pleasure in control. While he frames his kills as a societal service, his demeanor in custody shows smug satisfaction at orchestrating destruction. Tell us about Mr. Kramer.
Jigsaw John Kramer, the pros. Driven by a personal code, convinces himself he is helping people by forcing them to confront mortality and appreciate life. Ingenuous engineering skill, designs highly complex mechanical traps requiring forethought, resourcefulness, and often a deep psychological profile of the victim. Selectivity in targets, typically chooses individuals he perceives as morally compromised or wasting their lives, drug addicts, corrupt officials. Provides an escape. In theory, most games have a survival path, however brutal, allowing the worthy to live. Delegation and training. Recruits apprentices like Amanda Young and Mark Hoffman to continue his work, extending his influence behind his own lifespan. Occasional recognition of merit, has shown moments of genuine respect towards survivors who endure their trials. And strategic evasion. Repeatedly outmaneuvers law enforcement despite deteriorating health from terminal cancer. Huge. These are the cons. Massive death toll. While claiming not to murder, the vast majority of his victims perish, often in grotesque ways. Punishments disproportionate to the crime. Subjects people to mutilation or death or flaws such as addiction, greed, or even depression. Collateral damage. Traps often harm unintended parties, including innocents forced into games to influence primary targets. Kidnapping and psychological torture. Abducts victims without consent, subjecting them to extreme physical and mental trauma. Manipulation of apprentices. Grooms followers into killers, warping their morality to fit his philosophy. Self-righteous inflexibility. Refusing to acknowledge the harm and suffering his test cause, dismissing failures as victims' own fault, and cruel spectacle, designs traps for maximum terror and lingering agony, blurring the line between his lessons and sadism.
And their shared traits are they're both highly intelligent and they are meticulous planners. They both plan everything to the T. They're both moral justification of killing. Both claim a higher purpose, framing themselves as teachers or prophets, especially exposing the social decay. They think they're higher, they're better than thou. Bullshit. The direct engagement in authorities. Doe leaves elaborate crime scenes as cryptic messages, while Jigsaw uses recorded instructions and riddles. They control over narrative. Both have control of narrative. Both manipulate the pace of the investigation and the emotional states of those pursuing them. The absence of remorse. Neither express genuine guilt over the suffering or deaths they cause. Long-term vision. Doe's work is a single complete project. Jigsaw is an ongoing crusade with successors to continue it. Both have personal sacrifice accepted. Doe dies to complete his masterpiece. Jigsaw accepts eventual death from cancer while ensuring his work survives. So, who is the worst one of these two?
I mean, I gotta go with John Doe, because anytime you're like meticulously put together a plan like that, and he got close to Gwyneth Paltrow too. That was my question. I haven't seen all the Saws. Is he close to any of his victims, or is it he's just picking them out?
I don't think he's close to. I haven't seen all of them either, but I know the girl in that kills the guy with the key in his stomach eventually becomes his protege.
Gotcha. Whereas like Kevin Spacey, I mean, he meticulously has to put together this plan, and you know, one's literally a killer, and I think the other one's like a psychopathic killer. I mean, I could be wrong about that. I mean, Jigsaw could be a psychopathic too. I'm not as, but just something about John Doe just says that he's a little bit more crazy.
So I wrestled with this one when I was thinking about it because John Doe picked victims and he killed people that not deserved to die. Except maybe the guy who was Sloth. He was a pretty bad person. But you know, he killed a lawyer. He killed a fat guy. He killed Gwyneth Paltrow. He killed a prostitute just because he didn't like what she was doing. He didn't like the lady who was vain. He just cut her up to make her look horrible. He and then he eventually, you know, got killed because he wanted to end his masterpiece. While in terms of Jigsaw like is killing people that yeah, they have some issues, but none of them really sometimes need to be in this sadistic game he likes to play. He likes to watch them die. I guess John Doe does the same thing. And he does have proteges that continue his work. In terms of brutalness, I would say John Doe is worse because his victims don't have a chance to live, even though he told the lawyer to cut a piece of flesh. But most of them like are disfigure your face and live like that forever. But between the prostitute and the fat guy, he just kept feeding them till they exploded. Like he died and he made the prostitute guy have sex with the guy with the knife, which is ridiculous. But I don't know. I was kind of torn in this one, Tone, and I think I'm gonna say Jigsaw's worse, just because although John Doe did a lot of brutal things, his was in say the 7 deadly sins, and only 7 people died. While Jigsaw keeps killing people. But then again, Jigsaw's a victim of the successfulness of a film. but I would say you know he thinks he's morally correct and just keeps killing people. And sometimes some of the people he's hurting they're supposed to be these horrible like scum of society, and some of them aren't even that bad. But like drug addicts, he kills drug addicts, and like yeah, they're horrible guys themselves. But I mean, I don't know. That's just my choice.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good. I like your explanation.
But ChatGPT disagrees with me. It says, who is morally worse? John Doe edges out Jigsaw as a more morally reprehensible character because there's no survival chance for victims, but I just told you he did give the choice to the woman to live, but every target is condemned before they're taken. He kills true innocence. He murders a pregnant woman solely to cause grief. Purposeless cruelty seeks only to prove his point by destruction. there's no practical outcome other than suffering. Jigsaw is still a monster, but he's operates under flawed logic that some victims can earn survival, often targets people he deems morally failing, not completely random and innocent, and maintains a self-image as a rehabilitator, however delusional. In essence, Jigsaw's moral hypocrisy is vast, but John Doe's lack of redemptive path for his victims. John Doe's also an excellent writer. And Sam says he just a puppet on a tricycle. He can't hurt anyone. He wants to play a game, man. He wants to play a game.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
But yeah, so we are split on that one, but ChatGPT agrees with Tony. So for that, John Doe wins that round.
A hard one. I mean, they both kill, you know.
So for this one, Tone, I'm gonna let you read the pros and cons of the first person.
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say, are you okay? Here we go.
All right. So for this round, we have one of Tony's favorite characters in Tony Montana from Scarface going up against Nino Brown from New Jack City.
Pros: Tony Montana, fierce ambition and fearless work ethic. Lands in Miami in 1980 as a penniless Cuban refugee with no English skills and no connections. Within a few years, he bulldozes his way from dishwasher to one of the most feared and wealthy drug lords in Florida. His rapid rise comes from an unshakable belief that the world is yours, pairs with relentless hustling and bold moves, such as defying orders and cutting his own deal with the Bolivian kingpin Alejandro Sosa. Loyalty to friends, at least early on. His partnership with Manny Rivera is built on trust, mentorship, and shared risk. In the early stages, Tony shields Manny from danger and works to pull up alongside himself, refusing to leave him behind when things get tough. Fearless in high-stakes situations, whether staring down Frank Lopez in his known nightclub or walking into a volatile meeting with Sosa surrounded by armed guards, Tony exudes unflinching confidence that rattles opponents and commands respect. Personal moral line at first. His no women, no children rule is iconic. The assassination attempt in New York, where Tony refuses to pull the trigger after spotting a child in the target's car, shows that he is capable of drawing a moral boundary even if the criminal underworld, a move that costs him dearly. Charismatic swagger, his mix of humor, aggression, and street-smart wit, say hello to my little friend, makes him magnetic, often bending negotiations and confrontations in his favor. This charisma wins allies but also intimidates rivals. Self-destructive behavior. This is his cons. He's got self-destructive paranoia. As his empire grows, his suspicions of everyone, including closest allies, spiral. Manny's death is the clearest example. Driven by a jealous, protective rage over his sister Gina, Tony kills Manny before even hearing the truth about their marriage. Cocaine-fueled recklessness. Increased drug use warps his decision-making from public tirades in his own nightclub to impulsively insulting Sosa, a man whose wrath eventually seals his fate. The infamous mound of cocaine seen in the ultimate metaphor of his loss of control. Moral hypocrisy. While he clings to his no kids rule, he is responsible for countless innocent deaths through his empire's violence and product. His morality is selective and often self-serving. Ego-driven antagonism. He actively picks fights with powerful figures, cartel boss, corrupt cops, even his own wife, convinced he's untouchable. The hubris alienates potential allies and paints a giant target on his back. Toxic relationships. His obsessive need to control Elvira Hancock drives her away, and his explosive temper destroys any semblance of a stable personal life.
Also, his horrible Spanish accent. So Nino Brown, the man, the myth, the legend. His pros are he's business-minded strategist. Nino turns the Carter apartment complex into a fortress-like hub for crack production and distribution, running it with corporate efficiency. Beam me up, Scotty, is a quote they always use. He understands the importance of vertical integration in a drug trade, from supply to street sales, and uses a military-style organization to maintain dominance. Ruthless efficiency. He eliminates threats quickly without hesitation. If someone becomes a liability, his lifelong friend G Money, Nino doesn't let nostalgia cloud his decision. He pulls the trigger. He's not his brother's keeper. He cultivates loyalty through wealth and image. The Cash Money brothers operate with precision, discipline, because Nino rewards success lavishly. His Thanksgiving turkey giveaways and neighborhood handouts bolster a Robin Hood-esque public image, making him harder to turn into the police. And his adaptability under pressure. Whether bribing officials, intimidating rivals, or shifting operations, Nino stays one step ahead of law enforcement until the very end, adjusting strategies without losing his grip on power. Now, his cons: he's a cold-blooded betrayalist. He murders G Money, his best friend since childhood, over business slight. The killing is calm, methodical, and devoid of hesitation, showing zero emotional conflict, although he did kind of show some crocodile tears. He has no moral boundaries. He uses children as lookouts and drug runners, knowingly putting them in danger. When he's getting shot at the wedding, he pulls that kid in front of him so he doesn't get shot. Civilians are expendable collateral if they get in the way of business. Community poison disguised as generosity. While he hands out turkeys, his product devastates the very neighborhood he pretends to uplift. The charity is calculated PR move, not a reflection of empathy. And he's militant to the core. Publicly presents himself as a benefactor while flooding the streets with crack cocaine, destroying families, and fueling gang wars. And finally, his self-preservation is above all. When cornered, he immediately betrays associates to reduce his own prison time, showing zero loyalty to anyone but himself. Before we get into the decision, here are some of their shared traits between the two. They both came from nothing. Both start with no wealth or power and then rise to the ambition and the charisma and ruthless tactics. They both betray their closest allies. Tony murders Manny. Nino executes G Money. Both acts represent the moment when paranoia or ambition destroys their last real friendship. They have masterful structured drug empires, Tony being cocaine and Nino Brown being crack. They have untouchable mindsets. Both believe their wealth and fearsome reputation make them immune to consequence, a belief shattered in particular fashion by the end. And both have public image manipulation. Tony uses charisma, while Nino uses his calculated community reach. Both present a crafted image to maintain influence. Tone, you've heard the cons and pros of each. Which do you think is the worst in your book?
Well, over the last 2 weeks, just by coincidence, I watched New Jack City. It's been a little while. It's real talk. For this one's a real coin flip. To really be honest with you. It depends on, honestly, you know what? I really want to say Tony, but what's his name was doing it to his own community, which is just something morally not good about it. When your own community, you're flooding it. Where like Tony came from 1980 and he was an ambitious, that's any worse, but I don't know, man. This one's a tough one. What are you gonna say before I make my decision?
So my choice is, well, first let me give it like my few points here. Tony came from Cuba as a criminal. He was slumming it up. He basically got into was basically in to kill somebody, which he did. He was part of the revolution against Castro. Came over, was working as a dishwasher. Then he got set up for a bad drug deal because he opened his mouth. Got one of his friends killed there. His friend gets chainsawed. Although there's nothing he could have done because he was, handcuffed. But one of his good friends dies there. I think it's his cousin, he calls him, Angel Ramirez. He basically, I think, got too big too fast in terms of but he has some redeemable qualities. And one of the redeemable qualities of him is his thing about the children. That's what eventually cost him. Like, he doesn't kill women or children. He does, however, do physical violence against women with his wife, and Gina. But he does try to make things right with his mom by trying to give her money and take care of her, and Gina, his sister. So he does take care, and he does try to take care of, the people around him, like Manny and, even Ernie. He tries to be. He even tells Frank he was loyal to him, even though even through everything. I just think that he just got his obsession and like the coke in his mind got up his brain all fucked up. So I think he has some redeemable qualities, although a horrible person. When it comes to G Money, I think G Money is just a piece of shit. He pulls people in front, like he, for like you say, he infiltrates his own community. He pulls kids in front of him when he's getting shot. He has sex with Nino Brown has sex with G Money's girlfriend at the time because he was.
Yeah, that was what he calls on the phone. Like,
and he tells his wife he doesn't love her because she can't have kids. He throws everybody under the bus. He does give a great speech in court though about I'm not guilty, you're the one who's guilty. Great speech there. Ain't no Uzis made in Harlem. But in terms of like the worst person, I would say Nino Brown is the worst person compared to Tony.
I have to agree.
This is the only time I'll give Tony a win in my book. But yeah, that's what I say, my friend.
Yeah, I agree.
ChatGPT says, while Tony Montana's downfall is fueled by emotional vitality, addiction, and pride, Nino's evil is colder, more calculated, and without moral limits. Tony's refusal to kill a child, even at the cost of his empire, shows he retains a fragment of consequence or a conscience. Nino has none. He will exploit children, murder lifelong friends without pause, and use charity as a smokescreen while destroying the same community he pretends to help. In moral bankruptcy, Nino wins. His evil is not the product of spiral into paranoia, but a deliberate, sustained choice to be a predator in human form. And I agree with that. I always wondered too about Scarface. If Tony had not been as high and he let his friend in the room with him, remember his friend runs to the door and screams for him to open the door for him?
Yeah.
He probably would have lived because he probably would have killed the guy behind him.
Yeah, that's true.
That was sneaking through the window. But I mean, he was too high to know what the hell was going on.
Well, when you, unfortunately, and this is the truth, and in both stories, when you kill your main man, the guy who's been watching your back, you're setting yourself up for the fail, because that means you let your guard down. So the person, and just the way he killed Manny, and it was just. But that's actually, I was going with Scarface because I just watched New Jack City, and it was the same thing with like Jordan Belfort. It was like almost Wesley Snipes is almost like ridiculous in the movie. Like, he's not like someone who would scare me if I seen him. He just does some scary shit. Where Tony too, I mean, what is Al Pacino, 5'1"? You know what I mean? It's not like Scarface would scare me. But again, I'm going with you. Nino Brown. Nino Brown.
Yeah, I gotta go with Nino Brown on that too. He's just bad.
It's official. You suck.
But this next one, my man, is a good one. It involves an Al Pacino character. And I try to do something. I could have went the route of Tony Soprano here, but I didn't. I went with the route of Michael Corleone from the Godfather trilogy versus Walter White of Breaking Bad. So for this one, I'll be reading the pros and cons of Michael, and you'll be reading the pros and cons of Walter White. For Michael Corleone, his pros are he's initially a principled outsider. When we first meet him in the Godfather film, he's a decorated Marine, war hero who tells Kay, "That's my family, Kay. It's not me." He wants nothing to do with organized crime instead of envisioning a legitimate life away from the mafia. Yeah, but he's kind of like that part. He kind of brags though about his family and mob to her, which I thought was kind of weird too. Like, you don't usually talk about the family business, but he's telling to this chick. He does have a loyalty to family legacy. His first step into the criminal world comes from love and duty. After the attempt on his father's life, Michael personally guns down Salazzo and corrupt police Captain McCluskey in a restaurant as an act that saves his father and restores the Corleone family's honor. He's a master strategist. Michael is a chess player in the mob world while everybody else is playing checkers. The most famous example is the baptism montage, where he renounces Satan as godfather to his nephew while simultaneously orchestrating the murders of the other New York Dons, consolidating the family's power in one stroke. Business-like efficiency. He's compared to other mobsters like Sonny or Mo Green. Michael avoids gratuitous violence. His hits are calculated for strategic gain. not for personal sadism. And he has a visionary leadership. In part 2, he attempts to legitimize the family by moving into the Cuban business ventures and other legitimate enterprises, even if it ultimately fails. Now, his cons: moral disintegration. The arc across the trilogy charts Michael's descent from principal war hero to isolated mob emperor. By part 2, his justifications for violence have eroded into pure self-preservation. He's fratricide in the name of business. The murder of Fredo in part 2 is one of the coldest acts in cinematic history. Michael delivers a death under order knowing that Fredo is weak and feeble-minded, and plus his hapless brother, but considers his betrayal unforgivable. The execution on the lake cements his transformation into the ruthless Don. He's manipulative and secretive. He lies to Kay about ordering Carlo's murder. He denies involvement in certain killings while orchestrating them and keeps the family constantly in the dark about the full extent of his operations. His personal isolation and family alienation. His marriage collapses after Kay. Reveals she aborted a child to stop the cycle of violence. By part 3, his children resent him and he is left with little personal joy. And his unwillingness to forgive. Michael keeps enemies and even family at arm's length permanently, believing betrayal must always be repaid in kind, no matter the emotional cost. What do you think about Pro?
If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Okay, here we go. Pros: Walter White, genius level chemist who starts with nothing more than a broken down car, a high school chemistry classroom, and a grim cancer diagnosis. In under 2 years, creates the purest crystal meth on the market, 99.1% purity, which becomes the signature. Initial goal to provide for family. At first enters the drug trade to secure financial stability for Skylar, Walt Jr., and their unborn daughter, aiming to leave $737,000 behind after his death. Quick thinking survivalist. Walt repeatedly improvises out of life-threatening situations, dissolving Emilio's body in acid, using fulminated mercury as a fake grenade in Tuco's lair, and outmaneuvering Gus Fring with a nursing home bomb. Strategic expansion transforms a small meth cooking operation into a multi-state distribution empire by forging alliances, outsourcing distribution, and exploiting rival weaknesses. Walter White's cons. Pride eclipses practicality. Once he surpasses 737,000 goal, he keeps building his empire out of ego and a desire to be remembered. By his own admission in the final, I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. High body count, indiscriminate collateral. Orchestrates the poisoning of a child. Brock, to manipulate Jesse, orders the murder of 10 imprisoned associates in 2 minutes and indirectly causes the death of innocents, including hundreds in the Wayfarer 515 plane collision. Emotional exploitation. Plays Jesse Pinkman like a pawn, alternating between fatherly support and brutal betrayal, including letting Jane die of an overdose to keep Jesse under control. Family destruction. Lies to Skylar until she's complicit, terrifies his children, and ultimately forces his family into witness protection level danger. Walt Jr. rejects him outright, calling him a monster. Machiavellian manipulation. Carefully curates his Heisenberg persona using fear, spectacle, and calculated intimidation to control rivals and allies alike.
Say my name. Shared traits between the two. They're both transformation from sympathetic men to feared kingpins, both with understandable motives, protecting family, ensuring stability. But at the end, they're isolated rulers and consumed by paranoia and power. They're both strategic. Michael and Walt excel at planning, deception, and timing, whether it's coordinating multi-hit mob strikes or engineering chain reaction betrayals in the meth world. Both have family casualties. Both men's greatest failures are personal. They lose the love and trust of those they initially sought to protect. Calculated violence. Neither relishes chaos for chaos' sake. Their murders are planned to achieve specific ends. Both are willing to kill, but without remorse once the decision is made. Both cling to power until the bitter end, refusing to step away when offered the chance. So, Tone, My question to you is, which one is worse?
Walter White. Walter White is worse because if you would have stopped at the 737,000, I wouldn't even think he was a bad. I would have thought he just did what he was supposed to do, but it's how much it all got out of control, to the very end. It really got out of control. Not to say that Michael's empire doesn't get out of control. It just seems a little bit more in control than this empire.
See, I would totally agree with you, but one caveat points me to Michael, and it's the killing of Fredo.
That's true.
And even though Fredo did allow Hyman's
Jane kind of equals Fredo.
Yeah.
Your son, your kind of son's why not son, but son like, but you're right though. Fredo is bad. That's the bad one.
Even though Fredo was kind of like he did let Hyman Roth, but he was
didn't kill him.
Yeah, but he had ordered someone. The fact that he made it seem like he forgave him is the part that was horrible.
Yeah,
Walter White's a piece of shit too, but that, and then with Kay and his kids, he just became, because there's certain aspects of like Walter White there were certain redeemable qualities. At the end, I think he was he knew he was dying. He had cancer. He was dying, so he just basically lived the life he was doing. Michael never his whole thing was he was doing this for his family, and nowhere disrespects the family, but like, who is his family? Like, he doesn't have a real family. You know what I mean? Like, he pushed everybody away.
Yeah.
Also, he let his cousin date his daughter. They were cousins. That was the weird fucking thing. Godfather 3. He's the worst person just for Godfather 3.
No, you're right. You're right. Now you always give me to change my mind.
But I would say just Michael, just for those aspects. But I mean, if you want to stick with Walter White, it's cool.
Well, I want to hear what ChatGPT. I'm sticking with Walter White. I'll see what ChatGPT says.
So ChatGPT is going to agree with you. They're saying Walter White edges out Michael because his entry into the crime world is entirely voluntary, and I will argue that so was Michael's. Michael was born into the mafia world and stepped in initially to save his father. Walter had legal, moral, and options, and still chose the meth empire purely from pride. Michael's brutality grows from necessity within his inherited role, whereas Walter is fueled by vanity, ambition, and the thrill of domination. Walt's body count includes far more innocence, and his manipulation of Jesse, especially poisoning Brock, shows a willingness to harm children to achieve his ends, something Michael never does. By the time Felina rolls around, Walt is less desperate man than a full-blown architect of destruction who burned his own house down just to roll the ashes. I mean, Michael will probably kill a lot of people too. I mean, he's the head of the fucking mob. So I mean,
but like literally with his it's always the question, and I mean it's a stupid question to ask, but like, who's worse, Charles Manson or Dahmer? I mean, one did it with his own hands, and one had people do it for him because he was so strong to talk their mind into it. You know what I mean? Like, which one is it the same? Could one be worse? I don't know. But in this case, you sold me on Michael. So honestly, because of the kill, I mean, I love Fredo so much. Fredo was Fredo was weak. He's not my, whereas like, unfortunately, in Walter's life, I mean, I think it's back to, again, like Walter's story was like this. I mean, Michael's story, I mean, what's 40 years? He couldn't get it right.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And I think, to be honest, Vito was probably the better man of the. Vito was the best mobster that you could have. I mean, if they're in that world, he's still ruthless killer, but.
Well, even when they went back in part 2 in De Niro, like he looked like he had a lot of morals. You know what I mean? Like, and there was crime, but having no drugs, like, you know what I mean? He's like, we don't deal drugs. He had a certain moral compass too.
And he also wanted Michael not to be in the mob,
which was a huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But so Walter White and wins that one with ChatGPT.
It's official. You suck.
So Walter White is the worst person. Moving on, my friend, we're going to number 6 here. And number 6 is a good one as well. We have Norman Bates from Psycho fame versus Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. So, for this one, I'll read the pros and cons of Mr. Bates, and Tony will read the pros and cons of Mr. Bateman. Starting off with Mr. Bates' pros, he's soft-spoken, deception. Norman first meets with Marion Crane in Psycho in the perfect display of disarming charm. His shy smile, stuttering politeness, and awkward small talk over sandwiches in a parlor make her and the audience drop their guard. Strategic crime concealment. His remote motel off the main highway means he can kill without witnesses. The swamp behind the property doubles as a disposal pit, where he sinks Marion's car with her body inside, methodically without panic. His adaptiveness under pressure. When Lila Crane and Sam Loomis arrive, Norman immediately shifts into cover-up mode, tidying his mother's room, keeping them away from the house, feigning ignorance with controlled body language. Dual persona advantage. The mother alter ego is ruthless, verbally abusive, and violently protective. The psychological split gives Norman both a benign front and a lethal enforcer within the same mind. Local animality. In Fairview, Norman is just a very nice, quiet boy who runs the motel, which allows him to evade suspicion for years. And Norman Bates' cons are he has a dissociative identity. I'm sorry. I knew we're not talking about names, but I can't pronounce words. Under disorder vitality, dissociative. There you go. Jesus Christ. Norman doesn't control when mother emerges. She kills based on perceived threats to Norman's loyalty, as with Marion, whose flirtation triggers a jealous rampage. You want to know what's crazy? I wrote these fucking notes. Maybe I should write better, like words smaller.
Oh, no, you're doing fine.
That's what I'm saying. I can't pronounce my own words. He has geographical confinement. The Bates Motel ties into a scene of every crime. Investigators connect the dots. The lack of mobility makes him an easy target. He's emotional frailty, and he's very fragile in this sense. Conversation about his mom causes visual discomfort, defense posture, and cracks in his demeanor. The vulnerability can be exploited by persistent interrogators. Risky trophy keeping. He perceives his mummified corpse in the upstairs bedroom, satisfies his delusion, but is a massive piece of incriminating evidence. Most scriptwriters can't read. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Sam. His lack of broader network. Unlike Bateman, Norman has no allies, no corrupt connections, and no alternate identity in another social sphere, making his secrecy fragile. So, tell me about the man, Patrick Bateman.
Oh, that was amazing. So much so that this is what I'm gonna say to you.
What do we have here? What is this? A handsome contest?
We got Patrick Bateman. Okay, we got the pros here of Patrick Bateman are he's social invisibility via conformity. In American Psycho, Bateman's designer suits, expensive dinners, and knowledge of culture make him blend seamlessly with New York's self-absorbed elite. He's just another Gordon Gekko clone, and no one looks closely enough to see the monster. Obsessive personal maintenance, his morning routine, facial mask, crunches, ice packs, is narrated with pride. This physical discipline fuels his confidence and ensures he can physically overpower victims. Calculated murder preparation. The Paul Allen scene is a masterclass in planning. Bateman selects the perfect location, sets the mood with Huey Lewis and the news, and wears a raincoat to avoid blood splatter, all while making homicidal intent under a friendly conversation. Financial and social privilege. Access to wealth means he can procure weapons, reserve private spaces, and bribe or distract anyone who might suspect him. Even his dry cleaner puts up his bloodstained sheets without serious questioning. Networking as a cover. Regular dinners, nightclubs, and business card battles keep him constantly seen in public, providing an alibi-rich lifestyle. The cons. Impulsive homicidal urges. Bateman's killings aren't always calculated. He chases a prostitute with a chainsaw down a hallway simply because the opportunity excites him, an act that leaves physical evidence and witnesses. Ego-driven risk-taking. He brags in a subtle ways about his violent acts, whether it's bizarre dinner monologues about serial killers or cryptic phone calls to his lawyers, suggesting he craves recognition for his crimes. Substance abuse, heavy cocaine use in clubs clouds his judgment, leading to sloppy decisions and heightened paranoia. Reality and stability. The film blurs whether his crimes are real or imagined, but his mental state is clearly deteriorating. This instability risks behavior that could expose him, and poor victim selection. While Norman victims are isolated and low risk, Bateman kills with his own social strata at times, Paul Allen risking recognition and investigation.
And for their shared traits, they're both two-faced. Norman hides behind a mild-mannered motel keeper. Bateman hides behind a confident Wall Street executive. Both facades are convincing enough to fool nearly everyone in their daily lives. They have deep-rooted psychological features and issues. Norman's rooted in trauma and maternal domination. Bateman is narcissistic and he's a sociopath, and possible psychosis. Victim vulnerability. Norman targets are isolated travelers, often women alone. Bateman's are women lured to apartments or strangers too intoxicated to resist. They have cleanup expertise. Norman uses environmental concealment, the swamp, the house. Bateman uses tools like plastic sheets and cleaning routines to destroy forensic evidence. And the isolation from consequence. Both benefit from worlds where people don't ask questions. A sleepy roadside for a town of Norman where nobody really gives a shit. And a self-absorbed yuppie scene for Bateman where they care more about cards, business cards. So, Tony, you went first last time. I'll go first this time. I think Patrick Bateman would win this argument if his stuff was real. And I think that's where it kind of throws it up. Like you in the beginning, end of American Psycho, you don't know if it was all in his head or not. Which is why I have to give it to Norman Bates. Although Norman Bates is evil, yes, but he has some psychological shit going on with it. So he has some understandability to why he's the way he is. Patrick Bateman, of course, has some psychological stuff with him to be thinking the stuff he does. But when you were saying the stuff about the blood sheet, like the sheets being bloody and his people are taking care, that's when I started to notice that maybe this isn't real because they didn't notice it. Only to him and we were seeing it. And then his interaction with William Dafoe, like that whole interaction kind of made me seem like it's not really happening.
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick Bateman sure can loves Huey Lewis in the News, so I can't hate that guy for that. But I would have to go with Norman Bates as the worst person. What about you?
It's agreeing with you the same reasons. Norman Bates. If it was real, probably Patrick Bateman, but Norman Bates.
Yeah, and ChatGPT disagrees with both of us. It says Patrick Bateman takes the edge due to motive and scope. Norman's killings are reactive, triggered by mother's jealousy and fear of abandonment. Patrick kills proactively, often for amusement, sexual gratification, or pure dominance. Norman's violence is confined to motel's reach. Patrick operates in the heart of Manhattan, able to strike anywhere and against anyone. Norman's mental illness provides some context for his actions, while Patrick's calculated cruelty is rooted in choice, entitlement, and thrill-seeking. In a public setting, Bateman's unpredictability makes him far more dangerous to a random person on the street, whereas Norman's threat is situational, tied to his personal delusion. I think it took into account if it really happened. So I don't know, but I would say Norman is worse. And like Sam kind of stole my thunder here, and he said both, but none of it was real. Dun dun dun. So Patrick Bateman, he's a bad guy, but I mean, I don't know.
I didn't.
He didn't do it. But yeah, so Norman Bates takes the cream of the crop on that one. We still got 4 more to go. And with our next one, we're going to be talking about 2 crazy psychopathic killers in Hannibal Lecter and Anton Chigurh, which is from the No Country for Old Men film and book. So here are the pros for Hannibal Lecter. He's refined and intelligent, highly educated, former psychiatrist with deep understanding of the human behavior. He also loves to eat people. He uses his intellect to assist law enforcement at times, guiding Clarice to catch Buffalo Bill helping Will with the Tooth Fairy, even though Will fucks him over. Um, he shows selective respect and even protection for certain individuals. He protects Clarice, never harms her. He operates under a self-imposed code. Uh, Often targets those he deems rude, cruel, or corrupt. He also, if you can't play a note in an orchestra, he'll kill you. Um, Actually, the book, the little side note, Tone, have you read any of the Silence of the Lambs books?
No, I have not. No.
So in the book, Hannibal, him and Clarice actually end up get together at the end. Yeah, and she joins him after he rescues her from the pigs. And Barney sees them overseas and like is freaked out because they're dancing in the ballroom.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why he kind of protects her. I guess he loves her. Hannibal also is capable of empathy in rare cases. He comforts Clarice about her childhood trauma. He's cultured in taste and he's restrained when it suits him. Appreciates art, music, and fine cuisine, albeit grotesque. His cons for Hannibal Lecter. He's a serial killer and a cannibal. Yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. He murders and consumes humans' flesh for personal gratification, also for food because he's a hungry guy. He murders often theoretical and sadistic, serving a victim his own brain while alive, cutting a guy open, throwing him over the side, making a guy eat his own face and cut it off. Well, he didn't kill him, but he still disfigured him. He kills innocent people when it benefits him. Prison guards during an escape. He's a master manipulator. But you know what? The prison guards were rude to him, so I guess he had because they were complaining about him getting lamb chops. He's a master manipulator. He exploits psychological vulnerabilities for amusement or leverage. He's self-professed code, inconsistency applied, will kill outside of it even when convenient. And he takes pleasure in killing, blends violence with culinary artistry. Yeah, when he's beating the shit out of that guard, he's really, really smiling, like when he's hitting him with a nightstick. So, pretty crazy guy. Tell me about Mr. Sugar, Tom.
All right. To Mr. Sugar, the positives. Operates under his own personal code. Often defers life or death decisions to a coin toss. Appears impartial at times. Spares certain people if chance dictates survival. Not motivated by greed or sadism. Driven by principles and the job. Keeps his word once given. Spares the accountant after promising not to kill him. He maintains professionalism. Kills quickly and efficiently. Avoids unnecessary prolonged suffering. Demonstrates self-sufficiency and tactical skill. Resourceful even when wounded. Here's negatives. Unstoppable hitman. Kills almost everyone in his path regardless of his innocence. Executes civilians for trivial reasons. Shooting a man to steal his truck. Adheres to promises to kill everyone when target is no threat. Moss's wife. Coin toss morality is inconsistent. Will override chance when it suits him. Complete absence of empathy. Views human life as livestock to be dispatched. Leaves high body count without emotional engagement. Killing is purely mechanical.
And their shared traits. Both are highly intelligent and methodical predators. They operate alone and follow self-imposed codes, though inconsistently. Their signature killing methods: Hannibal's cunning and improvised weapons, while Anton has a captive bolt pistol and silenced shotgun. Both remain entirely calm and eerily calm, basically, when they're killing people. They have no fear of law enforcement. They inspire mythic fear in other characters, spoken as unstoppable forces. They represent predatory evil, Hannibal as an intellectual predator, Anton as an impersonal fate-like force. And the use of rules or chance as thematic devices. Hannibal uses courtesy, while Anton uses his coin toss. And for both these roles, they have Oscar wins. So, Tone, which one is worse to you?
I mean, I gotta go Anton for the reason of in the movie, you don't really, that was the crazy thing about Silence of the Lambs. Like, you just hear about all these things that he did. So, like, I'm going to go by that aspect in this run. Whereas, Anton's just like pretty much a runaway train killing people, everyone in his path. Now, if the whole movie maybe was more about Anthony Hopkins out there killing, I might go that route. If we're talking about just the character in itself, I guess, again, it's back to the John Doe versus the Jigsaw argument, where one is a methodical. He wants to eat people. Like, that's not something you need to plan for that. This guy's just like, you run into his way. Like he said, he treats you like livestock. Seems a little bit more scary. But I could be wrong.
No, so I'm gonna go Anton as well, and the reason is I think Hannibal Lecter is he's a horrible person, horrible character. He's like one of the worst. But to go off the quote from Alfred from Batman, The Dark Knight, some men just want to see the world burn. That is totally Anton Chigurh. He's not motivated by money. He's motivated by his job and what he has to do. He is completely like ruthless. He tries to kill. He kills basically Josh Brolin's wife, even though he's dead, because he said he promised to kill him, and he does. He kills her when she doesn't respond to his coin toss, which pisses him off.
Hey, dirtbag. Your last shot.
He just even the guy at the gas station asks him, just trying to make small talk. He gets pissed at him and just gonna kill him for no reason. And then he kills the guy who had the chickens in his coop. They take his truck, who was trying to help him. He's just like, he's a complete like psychopath. And like we discussed this before, that Anton Chigurh, his portrayal by Javier Bardem is considered the most accurate portrayal of a psychopath in film history. It's been studied by psychologists, by psychiatrists, and they've all come to a consensus. It's by far one of the best portrayals of a psychopath. So I have to go with Chigurh on this one. And ChatGPT says Hannibal is a monster with selective empathy, occasional restraint, and the capacity for intellectual connection. Anton is remorseless, indiscriminate executioner, cannot be reasoned with or bargained with. Hannibal's murders are targeted and motivated by personal whims or vendettas, while Anton's killings are often random and unnecessary. Hannibal's evil is personal and idiocentric, the devil you might strike a deal with, while Anton's evil is absolute and mechanical, death personified and capable of change or mercy. So it says the verdict is Anton is morally worse due to his lack of humanity, indiscriminate violence, and inability to be swayed by emotional logic. Yeah, at the end when he kills the old girl, I told him you had a choice. But yeah, so Anton Chigurh, that's a clean sweep for that one. Wins on that one. Our next one is the Battle of the Women, man. The Battle of the Winds. So we move from Rose versus Jenny. We got two other big heavy hitters in this one, with Annie Wilkes from Misery versus Nurse Ratched for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I'm gonna give you the pros for Annie Wilkes and the cons. For Annie Wilkes, her pros are she's resourceful and self-reliant. When she rescues Paul Sheldon from his car wreck, Annie doesn't just keep him alive. She performs the kind of long-term care that most people would in need of a team of nurses would do for. She sets broken bones, manages his pain with medications, I bet often in dangerous doses, and she even cooks for him. She shows genuine competence and a scary level of independence, meaning she can hide a captive indefinitely without relying on outside help. She's patient when necessary. Annie is capable of biding her time. She doesn't try to kill Paul immediately after finding out his plans to end the Misery Chastain series. Instead, she slowly escalates her control over him, ensuring he's too weak to resist. She keeps up the appearance of nurse and fan for weeks, using his patience to trap him further. Fan devotion as motivation. While dangerous, her obsession with Paul's writing gives her a personal stake in keeping him alive. She genuinely wants to finish the novel. This is not a random act of violence. Her killings are purposeful, tied to her fixation on Misery Chastain's fate. Her cons, though, are she's explosive violence. Like when she breaks his fucking legs. Any bursts of rage are extreme and immediate. The infamous hobbling scene where she smashes Paul's ankles with sledgehammers. isn't just violent, and then she tells him, "God, I love you." That part always makes me laugh after she brings like, "God, I love you."
God, I love you.
It's sadistic and creative, and he can't escape without keeping him alive to suffer. Isolation tactics. Her remote farmhouse means Paul has no chance of accidental rescue. She doesn't just hide him; she kills a state trooper who stumbles onto the property and hides the body, proving she'll escalate without hesitation to protect her secret. She has an instability in her mood. Yeah, for sure. Annie's mental state swings violently. Sometimes she's happy in mid conversation. Sometimes she's angry. She can go from cheerful and then goes to screaming crazy lady. She's her total disregard for life. She openly states she killed before, hinting at her history as a nurse with suspicious patient deaths, and shows no hesitation in killing again if she feels betrayed. What do you think of this one, Tone? So we're gonna go to the pros and cons of Nurse Ratchet.
Authority and control. As head nurse of the ward, Ratchet's authority absolute. Patients depend on her for medication, privileges, and basic comfort. Giving her leverage, she can withhold necessities or grant small freedoms or manipulate behavior. Her calm demeanor. Ratchet rarely raises her voice or appears outwardly angry. The calm exterior makes it nearly impossible for patients or even colleagues to call her out for abuse because her cruelty comes wrapped in a professional tone. Strategic manipulator. Rapid's real weapon is her understanding of people's weaknesses. Billy Bibbit, that whole entire scene about his mother where she pushes him into a mental spiral, showcases this. Institutional shield. Working inside of a psychiatric hospital gives her almost complete immunity. Even other staff defer to her judgment, making her power systemic rather than personal. Her cons. Psychological sadism. While she doesn't kill with her own hands, she inflicts long-term emotional and mental harm, knowing exactly which buttons to press to maximize pain. Indirect violence. Cruel taunting of Billy Babbitt after he spends the night with a woman directly leads to his suicide and to him later becoming Charles Lee Ray and Chuck. No, I'm sorry, that was the coldness with which she addresses his death shows she values control over human life. Resistance to change, she refuses to adapt treatment to what might help her patients, instead keeping them in a state of dependency to maintain her authority. Cold detachment. She never becomes emotionally invested in anyone's well-being. Her interactions are transactional, aimed at maintaining her dominance over the ward.
And there's similarities. Both prey on vulnerable individuals who depend on them for care. Each thrives in a closed environment where outsiders can't easily intervene. Annie's farmhouse, Ratchet's ward. Neither acts for money or conventional revenge. Their cruelty stems from a need to dominate and manage others according to their personal vision. Both weaponize their caregiver image to mask abuse. So you went first last time. This one was really hard for me because it hints in Misery. It hints that Annie killed other patients, and yeah, she was horrible to Paul, and she kills the sheriff. But Ratchet, just like she's with a mental institution, she's supposed to be there to help, and she just is a complete bitch, causing people to kill themselves. Indirectly, of course, manipulating their mindset and torturing them for the long term. And these people already have problems. While Paul, yeah, he was fed and cooked, and he actually had like a honeymoon phase for a little bit at least. He was feeding them and taking care of them. Ratchet just seems to be like abusing these people the whole time until Jack Nicholson's character came around and challenged her for a little bit. But then she gets him getting lobotomized. So, like, it was really, really tough for me. I think I would have to go Ratchet just because of the fact that her pain is continuous and she's still in her job. While Annie is dead and Paul killed her, but she did have those little coaxes of having good things happen, where she fed him and took care of him and read Misery and then named her pig after him and stuff like that. So she did have some good times with him, but Ratchet just completely has no redeemable qualities. Well, neither character does, but I would go at Ratchet on that one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, before when I first looked at the lineup, I mean, I immediately thought Annie Wilkes. But again, with your explanation and the fact of that, sadly, I've looked at Katie when it's been a bad week and been like, you know what? To be fair, I could escape to Annie's cabin. I mean, the thing about Annie, I think, and I really mean this, is like, I also think James Caan didn't play as like he could have been. It was Annie shouldn't have had as much control as she had. Nurse Ratched, there was nothing you can do with the control she had because, like as you stated, like you would never be where Nurse Ratched was. But like as you said, there was a honey. Like Paul didn't start being scared of her. You know what I mean? Like it was her craziness that drew. So in a world where Annie was just a normal person, it could have worked out actually better for Annie. Annie could have got free books for life, cars, because she actually saved him. But yeah, I'm going to go with Nurse Ratched on this one. But I have a feeling that ChatGPT is going to disagree with us. But let's see.
Yeah, you are completely right. ChatGPT says, Annie Wilkes, Ratchet's abuse is systematic, insidious, and psychologically scarring, but Annie's violence is immediate, physically devastating, and often fatal. Annie is a one-person woman prison system, judge, jury, and executioner, willing to kill anyone who threatens her control. While Ratchet's actions ruin lives over time, Annie leaves no recovery possible. If you end up in Annie's care, the odds of survival are slim to none. But see, that's where I push back because I think Ratchets are over time, which you're suffering constantly. At least in Annie, you'll die and you won't suffer anymore. No, I'm serious.
Well, I think, unfortunately, I don't think AI has got as far as to put that amazing analysis into its brain yet because you're true. But again, Nurse Ratched sometimes could come across as being just a really, really awful teacher who doesn't inspire her students and leads them to slow death. I mean, the problem, unfortunately, was like Jack Nicholson wasn't crazy. Okay. He wanted to go there because he didn't want to go to prison. So what ends up happening is she was comfortable until he got there. I mean, the truth of the matter is her sadism didn't show up until he realized that she was doing that to them, which is kind of funny in a way, because if Jack never goes, Billy never dies, and they all just kind of go along with the ruse.
Yeah. Damn it, Jack. But Nurse Ratched wins it for this one.
Stupid fucking game.
And she's the worst person. The next
nurses generally, you want them to help, that's the important part,
Which I think,
if I were the man, I want.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all good. No, go ahead. Which I think is awesome that they both won the Oscars for their roles, which is great. But it's crazy. I don't know. It's just crazy. The Nurse Nightingale, the nurse is supposed to help people. Then just like think like all the things people are those crazy doctors, and I mean it's come out like Harold Shipman was a doctor that killed people, and
Kevorkian. Yep.
Yeah, Kevorkian. But I mean Jack was more assisted suicide. They wanted to die. But Harold Shipman was a serial killer. For insurance money. Just crazy stuff, man. But the next two, man, I'm really excited about these next two because I want to hear your views on them. For this one, we're going Kaiser Sose. The man knows Kaiser Sose from The Usual Suspects, and he's going against Frank Castillo for The Departed. So the pros of Kaiser Sose: he's a master of deception. Kaiser Sose's greatest weapon isn't a gun; it's his ability to make people see what he wants them to see. He operates under layers of fabricated identities, and most famously hiding in plain sight as the seemingly harmless, physically impaired Verbal Kent. His partners, rivals, and even the police have no idea they've been face to face with the real Soze until it's far too late. He has fear-based control. The defining moment of Soze's legend is the family execution story, which I think is really fucked up. When rival gangsters try to use his family and children as leverage, he kills them in front of them, then kill the rivals and families. The message: you cannot threaten him because there's nothing he won't do. This single act cements his place as a near mythical figure criminals fear across continents. Don't ever rat on your pop, or Kaiser Soze will come and get you. The long game strategist: Soze's manipulations are impulsive He orchestrates events over years, building an intricate web of lies and relationships. In The Usual Suspects, every deal of his The Heist and its aftermath is part of a grander scheme to eliminate anyone who could identify him, while keeping his cover intact. Global reach. Unlike many gangsters confined to one city or country, Soze operates internationally. His name alone is whispered in the criminal underworld from Turkey to New York. He uses smuggling routes, mercenaries, and shell organizations that make it almost impossible to tie him to a specific scene. His cons: he's extremely paranoid. He trusts no one, except maybe his lawyer. Not even close associates. If there's the slightest chance someone could link him to a crime, he eliminates them, often with extreme violence. Collateral slaughter. He doesn't just kill the intended target. Bystanders and innocents often die in the process. Entire crews are wiped out simply for having been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Myth-making manipulation. Sose deliberately cultivates his own legend. He flames his own ass, as they say, turning himself into a ghost story among criminals. While effective, it fuels his paranoia. He has to keep proving the myth true, which means escalating his violence. And he has an inhumane detachment. Everyone is expendable: allies, family, and strangers, and just variables in his long-term survival. Tone, let's go with Frank Castillo, my man. Tell me about his pros and cons.
His pros: he's a charismatic leader. Frank doesn't just rule with fear, he blends intimidation with incentives. His crew is fiercely loyal because he knows when to reward obedience. Whether it's cash, influence, or protection, Jack Nicholson plays him with a mix of charm and menace, making people feel lucky to be in his circle until they cross him. Deep infiltration. Costello plants Colin Sullivan inside the Massachusetts State Police as a child, grooming him to be a mole for decades. This is an investment for patience and foresight that keeps him steps ahead of law enforcement at all times. High influence. Frank keeps Boston politicians, cops, and other mobsters in his pocket. His reach as legitimate institutions is just as dangerous as his street muscle. Adaptive ruthlessness. When he suspects betrayal, Frank acts decisively. He doesn't wait for proof, such as executing crew members in public to send a message. His cons. Frank often underestimates threats because of his ego, his reputation. He assumes his power is unshakable, leading to risky public appearances and careless taunting of enemies. He's got a sadistic temper. He enjoys psychologically tormenting his own men. His verbal abuse, sudden violence, and erratic behavior create an atmosphere of constant fear. His cocaine his drug dependence, his cocaine habit affects his judgment, sometimes making him paranoid or overly aggressive in situations that could have been handled quietly. Public exposure. Frank is a known figure in Boston's criminal scene. He thrives on being visible and feared, but then visibility makes him a bigger target for rivals and law enforcement.
Their shared traits. Both are criminal masterminds who prefer pulling strings rather than getting blood on their own hands. Though both will kill directly when necessary, they use fear as currency. Soze through unpredictability, legendary acts of violence. Costello through a mix of intimidation and political control. Both rely on loyal but disposable crews, keeping them just close enough to be useful, but never irreplaceable. And misdirection is part of their brand. Soze through total identity concealment, and Costello through double agents and public misperceptions of his power. So, Tone, who do you think is worse?
I mean, I gotta go Frank Castillo. And you might say, like, why am I going Frank Castillo?
Every day I can't walk, I can't hum.
Like, if it's the character that they're telling in the story, that Kaiser Soze, I believe. I don't believe the Kaiser Soze that you see at the end, the Kevin Spacey character. So, like, the movie is different because Frank Castillo, is a criminal. He's ruthless. With Kaiser Soze, like, do you really know who he was, or was that just all a story, or what was it? Like, nobody knows really what the truth was to the point to the end. I mean, they kind of do. They do talk about it, but is it like, was it true? I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm gonna go Frank Castillo. But it's for the fact that Frank Castillo is an informant. Kaiser Soze is a piece of shit. Say we take everything true about Kaiser Soze. He's a complete bad person. He's a criminal underlord, overlord. But he likes to keep his persona very, very secretive. And it looks like he's only really hurting like the people that have kind of crossed him without knowing too. And people don't know if they work for him too, which is kind of a good thing. If you do a good job, then you don't have to worry about him coming after you. Well, Castillo has everybody in his back pocket. He's also working for the FBI just to keep himself out of jail and selling everybody else under the bridge, well, so he can keep doing his own thing, which is why I know he never gets caught. So in terms of just sticking to the criminal code, I would say Soze is more closer to loyalty and not breaking that code, while Castillo is more of a person that only cares about himself. I'm not saying Soze doesn't care about himself, which he obviously does, but he also he likes to be in basically not being seen. He'd rather be heard than seen. He rather be, his myth. Well, he wants to take that persona to be over Castillo. Soze did get his hands dirty more often, but that's just part of. He was cleaning up the crew that was trying to get rid of him. Frank was selling out fucking people that just to keep his own ass out of jail. And then he was going to kill Matt Damon's character, who was a piece of shit anyway. In the end, which is kind of funny that Frank Castillo actually trusted Leonardo DiCaprio's character more than he did Matt Damon's character at the end.
And back to Usual Suspects really quick. I mean, Kaiser Soze didn't really, honestly, in the story, didn't kill anyone until they came and killed his family. Because they said he was just a low level, low time, just running small drugs. And then they found his family and killed him. And what he did, to be fair, if you're going to the fact of like redemption, he did what anybody would do. He went and tracked down. Well, he went a little further than what anyone would do. He tracked their family's family. But again, I agree with. I could see both points. It's hard. This one's a hard one.
Yeah, this one was a tough one.
I want to see what ChatGPT has to say.
ChatGPT is going to go the way of the Sam. It's going to say Kaiser Soze.
That's where I was feeling.
Yeah, Frank Castillo is ruthless, but he's still tethered his eagle, his crew, and his city. Soze is untethered. He's willing to allurate his own family to send a message and will destroy anyone, friend, foe, or stranger. See, for that point, his reasoning is he'd rather have them die than live with the pain and suffering of a traumatic event, which is fucked up to think about.
Right. But it's so crazy as I just talked and I forgot he shot his own family.
Yeah.
No, he's worse. He's way worse. Jesus, I was just thinking about the part where he's just like, and I killed them. I forgot that they actually killed his family.
Damn it protects his animality. His power is not built not just on crime, but on the idea that his phantom, who can be anywhere and nowhere at once. Frank rules Boston. Soze rules fear itself. I still go with Frank, but you're gonna go with Soze now. You're gonna switch over to Soze?
No, I'm sticking with Frank. I because to me, it's what I was originally gonna go with. And number two, I'll go with the fact that he conned a young boy into becoming a corrupt police officer and working with the mob. That's just awful. No, I mean, I'm just
So Frank Castillo wins this one. And for our main event, the final one, we have Hans Landa from the Glorious Bastards versus Colonel William Tethington from The Patriot. I try to pair two people who are ruthlessly bad and have very small good things about them. So this is a battle of two big assholes, Tom. Two big ones to end our night, my friend. So, Mr. Hans Landa, his pros are he's intelligent and a culinary master. He speaks fluent German, French, English, and Italian, switching languages mid conversations to manipulate and unsettle his targets. This logistic skill is paired with a sharp understanding of cultural cues. He adapts body language, tone, and even humor to match or disarm whoever he's speaking to. This makes him equally effective interrogating a French farmer, hiding Jews, negotiating with the British, or chatting casually with Americans. Bingo! He has charm as a psychological weapon. Landa's disarming politeness is as dangerous as his gun. He often offers cigarettes, milk, or components in the middle of interrogations, creating a false sense of security that lulls his victims into lowering their guard by the time they realize they're in danger and it's too late. But he also does try to trick them during this by offering the girl something that wasn't kosher because he knew if she was Jewish, she wouldn't eat it. He has a strategic patience known as a Jew hunter. Landa can spend hours on a single conversation, slowly tightening a noose with polite small talk before delivering the final blow. He doesn't rush, he relishes the intellectual chess game. For example, he lets Shoshana Dreyfus escape early in the war, not out of mercy, but because he enjoys the long term drama of possibly meeting her again. He's a psychopath. Political survivalist, Landa is more concerned with ending up on the winning side than serving the Nazi cause. Near the end of the war, he betrays the Third Reich in calculated negotiation with the Allies, ensuring his own comfort and immunity. This programmatic adaptability keeps him alive and powerful even after as the tides of the war turn. His cons: he's opportunistic betrayal. He's not loyal. I mean, he goes to the highest bidder. Pretty much says it himself. He has overconfidence in his intelligence. I mean, most smart people who are extremely confident and extremely intelligent are extremely confident in their own selves and kind of assholes. Not all of them, some of them. He's also self-serving morality. He has no ideological conviction beyond personal gain, Nazi, Allied, or otherwise. His allegiance depends entirely on which side can offer him more comfort, safety, and prestige. The lack of moral anchor makes him unpredictable, but also leaves him with no one truly loyal to him. Tone, tell us about Colonel Tabington. Damn
out of all the picks that were picked tonight, I really enjoyed that you picked Colonel William Tavington in this one. He doesn't sometimes get the shining he should. Fearless battle leadership. Unlike many officers who give orders from a distance, Tavington leads from the front, charging directly into enemy lines. This boldness inspires his dragoons and terrifies opponents. He's got tactical brutality. Tavington is a firm believer in the total war approach. He burns homes, crops, entire villages. His scorched earth strategy is designed to make rebellion seem hopeless, striking terror beyond the battlefield. Relentless pursuit of enemies. Once he marks someone as a target, like Benjamin Martin and his family, he will hunt them for weeks without pause, using every resource at his disposal. His vendettas are personal and unwavering. Physical prowess and martial skill. A master horseman and expert in close combat, especially saber duels, Tavington's physical skill makes him a threat both as a commander as a hands-on killer. He's not afraid to get blood on his uniform. His cons: his war crimes without limits, burns civilians alive inside a locked church, executes prisoners of war without hesitation, and orders massacres of women and children. Not quite like Tony Montana. His cruelty is not just a means to an end, it borders on personal enjoyment. Arrogance and underestimation of enemies. Believes Colonel militias are inferior rabble and underestimates Benjamin Martin's guerrilla tactics, which ultimately leads to his downfall. Ego-driven cruelty. Tavington's violence is often motivated by personal slights or challenges to his authority, making him reckless in pursuit of revenge, even when it conflicts with military orders.
Their shared traits. They're ruthless authority figures in uniform. Both operate with the framework of official military power, giving their atrocities a veer of legitimacy. Their fear as a weapon. Landa uses psychological fear through manipulation and vile threats, while Tavington uses physical fear through public acts of violence. And he likes to know about Ohio, too. Calculated cruelty. Neither kills indiscriminately like a berserker. Both choose their targets carefully to maximize their intimidation and control. I think Tavington killing Benjamin Martin's kid was right away that was more just instinct. Lack of moral restraint. Neither is hindered by consequence or conscience. Their actions are glued solely by effectiveness and self-interest. This was a tough one for me. I really like this one. I think Colonel Tavington is a complete piece of trash. I think Hans Landa is a complete piece of trash. In terms of the worst, if we take out their wars, the war they were in, and just by the person, I would say Landa gets a leg up just because he likes to toy with his victim. Tevington kills children and women and burns like churches, and he's a complete psychopath. But he's doing it with a chip on his shoulder too. His family disowned him in England, and in the end, he's working for Cornwallis to try to get the state of Ohio as his retirement, basically, because he never can go back to England for doing what he's doing. So he has a gain in terms of not just proving his family wrong, but taking care of himself in the end. Now Hans Landa does that as well, jumping from side to side, which I think is worse because he jumps from side to side, and Tavington doesn't do that. But Hans Landa like toys with his victims more. And I think that just makes him a worse person to he let that girl go just to try to catch her later. But Hans Landa lives too, which is like even worse because that guy's still alive with the Nazi symbol on his head.
That's true.
I know, man. But I would say Landa takes it, just squeaks by. What do you think, Tom?
I would go the same route, but it's only because I think I don't know, because you said a great thing to start it. You said when you take the wars out of it. Really, when you take the wars out of it, you may go Tevington. Burning churches with children inside of it just could be really awful, but I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go. We'll go Hans.
Oh man, so we both go Hans, but ChatGPT says, while Hans Landa is cunning and manipulative, Colonel Tavington's lack of restraint makes him far more immediately dangerous to any population under his control. Landa will negotiate or manipulate if it benefits him, but Tavington jumps straight to slaughter with no interest in compromise. His brand of cruelty leaves no survivors to scheme against him, only ashes. Landa might let you live if you serve his goals. Tavington ensures you and your family won't be breathing if you stand in his way. See, now, there is a scene in The Patriot that was cut that will prove this wrong. The guy who leaves the gang, Benjamin Martin's gang, when I was asking if there's any bounties, he's an ugly dude. He actually gets caught by Tavington, and Tavington offers him gold and possession to tell where Benjamin Martin is, and he refuses and eventually gets killed. That's where there shows that he would let him live if he just gave him what he wanted. But that scene was cut, so it's not in the film. So Hans wins this one. Sam thinks it's Hans as well. So that's our 10 characters. I didn't know this was going to go 2 hours long. I went 2.5 hours long this one. That was actually really fun. It was something different I wanted to do, something new to try. If you guys like that, let us know. Give us feedback on this episode. I'd like to, even though we didn't have as many sound clips from the films, I thought it was really cool just learning their pros and cons. And these are some arguments that have happened, not just with me and Tone or, with our friends in the outside film circle, film circles and outside film circles. I read Reddit, they're arguing about this stuff. Also lets me talk about characters we haven't talked about a lot. Which any final thoughts on this, Tone?
I was just going to say, I thought it was a very excellent topic, and I thought we really dug into it well, and I like these matchups, man. It was fun.
Yes, sir. It was very, very fun. Tone, next week is our big 100th episode. It's finally here, and we got some good stuff coming, Tone. So let me play this little thing, and you can tell everybody about it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Coming soon.
Próximamente.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
All right. Next week, we got our 100th episode. It's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. We've got some people stopping by to have some fun and pretty much defend some movies that they enjoy. I don't know. We got some really good movies. Should I share what a couple of them are, or should we wait?
You can share a couple of them just to give a little taste.
A little taste. All right. Well, a little taste. We got a a little bit of something that you might find yourself going fast behind an automobile. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a part of it. You might even see a little bit of something with maybe in the Star Wars world. But what I want you to do is tune in, because it's going to be a good time, because we've got some people stopping by. You know, we got part of the new show with Yumper. Mr. Cotton is coming by, and the last time he stopped by, I think that was the last time I laughed super hard. That was a great time. You know, we got a list of people that are coming, so please stop by.
Yes, it's a big thing. We'll go into more of the thank yous and everything, but this is something that we love doing. It's 100 episodes. Usually most podcasts don't make it past 30 episodes, and we've been doing this for what, 3 years now, Tone?
Mm-hmm.
Me and you have been doing it for about 2 years, and
Yep.
this podcast has been going for 3. So we used to do bi-weekly episodes. Now we're weekly. God preventing, permitting. But and computer company preventing. But we're gonna keep going strong, and this is a big thing. And thank you, Sam, which the Asscast will be celebrating their 100th episode next month.
Awesome.
That I'm looking forward to going to at the Ramova. But we're gonna have some cool guests on, some cool topics. It's just one that we want to thank everybody for doing, and be sure to be here at 7:15 next week for our 100th episode of the At the Show podcast. Before we go, I forgot to mention the Drafty Pod came back this week, and they were talking some grocery draft with Mailman Jack, Fitzmagic, and Alexis. It was a pretty funny episode. There were some clips out there on the YouTubes, on the TikToks. If you want to check that out. Brian will be back again with some more drafty stuff, I believe, in 2 weeks coming up. But check out the latest episode of that. And before we get to the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, just want to thank everybody for listening and watching, and be sure to again give us a review and subscribe if you haven't. Good or bad review, I don't care, just give us something to traction. But Tone, let's get into the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, my friend. The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
All right, tonight we are funking it up with a little bit of the Jackie Brown soundtrack. I think this could be possibly Tarantino's most underrated movie, if you could say he has one. It's the one that I think everybody talks about the least, but the soundtrack is awesome. It's got actually 2 of my favorite songs of all time on it.
Ooh.
Across 110th Street by Bobby Womack. I love that song. And a song I love probably just a little bit more than that song is Strawberry Letter 23 by the Brothers Johnson. Both of those songs are awesome. Tarantino's a wizard at putting music to film, but the itself, it also has Johnny Cash doing Tennessee Stud, Bill Withers, Who Is He and What Is He to You, another great, awesome song. The Delphonics, Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time? There's a whole scene in the movie where he's trying to get the tape so he could play it for her because she said she liked the Delphonics. A really cool soundtrack. It's got a lot of cool different stuff on it that really works into the R&B soul overall feeling of the movie. And I think it's a really, really good soundtrack. It also has some different varieties in that too. I mean, when you got something with Johnny Cash and Bobby Womack, that's pretty cool, the way that all kind of mixes together.
Yeah, first of all, completely agree with you. Underrated movie. I like Jackie Brown. I'm a huge Pam Grier fan. I would say go as far as say I had a crush on Pam Grier when I was younger. Also, she's in one of my favorite movies, Ghost of Mars.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, I love Pam Grier. I love actually, Robert De Niro in a different kind of role.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Samuel L. Jackson in there. Great cast.
Chris Tucker.
And a great film. Chris Tucker's in it, yes. Great film. Soundtrack is awesome. Across His Letter, a Strawberry Letter 23 is a great tune. I really like Tennessee Stud. Johnny Cash is one of the few country artists that I really like. And I wouldn't really consider him. He's more like folky than country, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
But
everything.
Yeah, but I really like Johnny Cash. And then I really like Street Life by Joe Sample. And Randy Crawford, I think, sung it, right? But just stuff like that. It's an oldie, kind of an oldies kind of riff, and I like it goes completely with the film. Great pick, Tom.
Awesome.
Well, my friend, that is our show for the week. We are over the 2 hour and 35-minute mark. I don't know if this is our longest episode or with Shawshank.
It is up there. It is up there. As you're wrapping up here, I might be able to get you that answer right now.
Yeah, but before we get out, be sure to subscribe to Statistic Penguin Studios. Check out our website at statisticpenguinstudios.com. Again, check out our store at statisticpenguin.printify.me. We have a sale going on. I think it's 5% off, 10% off everything there. And check us out on the TikToks, Statistic Penguin Studios.
Our Julia Roberts one went by, well, if we wrap it up here within 1 minute, it went like 2:36. So we're getting there.
Well, should I stall us, Tony? Stall us for a minute.
Thank you so much for tuning in to us tonight. And next week is going to be awesome. We can't thank you guys enough to please join in and have some fun with us.
Yes. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And Cotton, we are over a 2 hour and 36-minute mark just for you. Take it easy, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?